Will we see a London system? That's the question.
I hope so. London is this opening that everybody memes on, including myself, but it's not bad at all.
It's just a great opening. I mean, Magnus plays it regularly. I wouldn't be surprised if Alireza does it, and we're off.
And I see d4 on the board, but it's not a London.
It's not a London. It's the Queen's Gambit declined. And which variation will they go for? Just very modest move there. Bishop to e7, a bunch of other options. This is a quieter system, very classical stuff. And Hikaru likes to bring out his knight here, not going for more critical lines here. And this gives white the chance to expand on the queen side, often backed up now by b4 and question mark early, Levy. What's going on?
Yeah, why doesn't knight b5? What, was knight b5 just a good move there?
Apparently pawn to c6, and this is strange. A big move order trick there. Maybe we can go back. I know it's early in the game. This is now transposed into mainline theory that both of the players know. But if we just take the game back, the first question mark of the match was in this position with the pawn going to b6. Let's try and bring up a board. Hikaru is thinking, though. And yeah, I think normally you play c6, then b6. Just maybe a bit of a kind of mutual moment of trust.
Right, because especially it's the first game. You're not thinking, oh, my opponent's blundering on the 7th move. At the same time, sometimes these game review icons jump the gun a bit. We do see h4, so we're getting a reaction shot here from Hikaru looking up into the sky. Alireza is playing a very modern Queen's Gambit declined. I've never seen the move h4 played in a position like this. Have you?
I have, but only because I started playing this line a bit as black, and I got a bit afraid when all the kids started playing h4. Essentially, the old move was to just push the pawn 1 square to h3, allowing the white bishop, the dark square bishop, to drop back. h2 is a nice hiding place in case that bishop gets chased down with knight to h5. And I don't know, nowadays h4 is just trendy, right? So why not gain a bit more space in the process?
And Hikaru is looking likely at chopping down the queen side, right? He's considering, does he take on b4, does he take on c5, or that move? And with the move knight to g4, he's sort of punishing this move h4, because normally the pawn would have been attacking the knight on that square. And from here, David, is the idea to now advance with the f-pawn forward?
It must be right. It's something to do with f5, maybe something to do with pushing in the center and just totally blowing up the whole pawn structure. I mean, this is my favorite thing in the world, Levy, these long, nice pawn chains. And to break it so forcefully now must be on Hikaru's mind. He's calculating. Oh, what do you think? Is it now a good moment to invest time on the clock? Especially if the opponent's clearly still in preparation.
Yeah, for sure. Knight g4 played after some thought, and now the follow-up is being thought about as well. Before you know it, you're down to maybe 2.5 minutes to make the rest of your decisions. And this is what I said, 5+1 can be a bit shaky. All right, there's the pre-move. He's trading down the whole left side of the board, and there's the strike in the center. David, you called it. We might see a liquidation quite early.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Alireza didn't pause there. I would have thought maybe even maintaining the pawn structure, bringing his bishop back was an option, but he wants a more open type of game here, and there are weaknesses. Yes, white has the double pawns, but black has some weaknesses and a lack of coordination right now. Maybe this knight as well, just forcing the black bishop to kind of stay where it is. Maybe this has to be defended by the queen right now.
Tough decision for sure, because if black's light-squared bishop moves to either b7 or d7, you lose very different things. And maybe a queen b6 is a possibility. There could be some vague ideas where you can maybe throw away the pawn on c6. The problem is it just comes with tempo. It attacks your queen, it attacks your bishop, so you likely should be protecting it. And Hikaru's deep in thought, and I wonder what he is thinking about, because queen b6, I don't really see another option. Maybe queen e8. Okay, wow, he's just giving up a pawn, I guess.
And the biggest shock to me is that the evaluation bar barely shifts. As you say, it's just a pawn. The knight can be captured, a pawn will be captured, but...
Knight d3. Yeah, that's...
counterplay.
Knight d3, he's relying on that counterplay. So it looked a bit superficial, this double attack, and bishop d7 looks to be holding everything together.
Yeah, that's great calculation from Hikaru. That type of move could easily burn a minute or two off the clock, just as you calculate, but he trusts himself. Worst comes to worst, he'll be a pawn down, and the game goes on, opposite color bishops. So he knows that it's not necessarily too big a risk he's just taken. What to do next, though? Alireza is tempted, surely. He likes to go for the most critical, most direct path if he can. I guess it's this, or maybe taking a timeout in the near future to castle. Although even there, questions.
I was going to suggest, I wonder if here white can play, yeah, okay, you probably have to get rid of the knight, because if you ever played f2, f3, the h4 pawn is hanging, but maybe you can just like walk the king into the center of the board. Now Hikaru's thinking, because yes, he can take the bishop, for anybody confused. He can also give a check. That is ultimately what he is thinking about here. It's not so obvious which move is better, by the way. Like sometimes these move order tricks, David, weird stuff can go down.
Exactly. When in doubt, especially with the clock ticking, you want to keep things simple. I guess this is at least much more straightforward than thinking about any knight jumps, but this has amounted to a clear pawn sacrifice. Knight takes bishop, even the most natural move now.
Knight takes d5 is it, right? Like everybody is looking at that move as well. That's a second hanging pawn. You cannot take either knight because they would take on, okay, instead he does it this way, but somehow black is still keeping dynamic equality because white's king is in dire straits.
Exactly. You want to castle. This would almost be a natural move in any other position. Now, h4 though, that move we talked about earlier, there is a downside finally shown. Queen takes pawn though will be met by a capture in the center. Knight takes this one, and white's going to be a pawn up no matter what. So can Hikaru find compensation? That's the question now.
Yeah, Alireza has navigated this really intelligently. And before you know it, his queen in the corner is going to be a real problem. Black is just relying on some sort of maybe perpetual check, opening up the king somehow, but I don't really see it. Like, white could even begin to play f3 at some point.
Exactly. The sacrifice, or the type of thing he would want to, that you're alluding to there, Levy, is to kind of bring the bishop forward and create some checks, but white's bishop, great defender. Ultimately, black might be forced to just set up a blockade on the light squares, bring back the knight at some point, bring back the bishop, just sit and hope that white cannot make anything with the extra pawn.
This is a very typical Hikaru game, though, like, come get me. Because he's sitting there, the king in the castle, 3 pawns, all the pieces are basically on the same side of the board. Can Alireza break through the defenses and grab Hikaru and pull him out, you know what I mean? And that would be really symbolic of what's to come for the rest of the match.
Would be impressive if Alireza won this. I think the small time advantage will help him, but it's going to be a long, long battle to break black's defenses. You have to ask yourself, do you want the knights off the board? Probably not. I think white should be trying to maintain the knight. What about a bishop for knight exchange? He's going to be asking himself queen trades as well. So many questions in the near future.
You're looking at like knight f6 check. Not now, but if the queen was on the other side, then you would be checkmating your opponent. And unfortunately, that's not possible. You would love to play the move rook d1, but you can't because that annoying bishop. So it's like you don't want to play the move f3 here because your knight is hanging, and then you would do huge damage to your position. And so what do you play? Like queen d4 runs into the knight hitting both the queen and the bishop. So that's why Alireza is deep in the tank and actually down on time now.
Yeah, not an easy decision at all. My choice would probably be to bring the queen into the center, just dodge if the knight hits the queen. I don't think black is ever going to be too tempted to try and trade off the white bishop, but oh, he goes back to a slightly clumsy looking square with his knight.
Yes, maybe he's trying to reposition to the center, either via c6 or c2, right? And then get into the middle of the board. But I don't see white's plan. Like, your plan is obviously to keep improving the pieces, and black is going to put the pieces very solidly on the light squares, and that's going to be that. At some point, white will have to move some pawns forward. I don't really know how you're going to win an endgame here.
Exactly, and wow, big decision. Hikaru is asking now Alireza, he's saying, do you want those knights off? If they do come off, I think the blockade concept is going to become much more realistic. I don't really see any way to push pawns successfully, so keeping the knights on is the most ambitious way forward, and he does that. I think you're right, Levy. He's just going to plant his knight in the center and say that's first step. Plan still unclear, but at least he has a nice piece there.
And the imbalance that the player with the white pieces wants is knight for bishop or bishop for knight. It's not the opposite colored bishops. The rook endgame with the opposite colored bishops is very likely to be a draw. The bishop endgame is a draw in their sleep. So here, Hikaru is really contemplating, David, like, do I take that bishop? And wow, he goes for it. That's a massive commitment.
Huge, huge call there from Hikaru. He's relying on some very quick activity here. He's also relying on the fact that the black pieces attack this knight. The knight doesn't have too many happy squares here, but yeah, long term, that is a huge risk. If the queens, rooks all disappear, white's just winning.
Yes, pawn endgames, anybody confused, very simple math. You have 4 versus 3. It's a very high likelihood that you're going to win. Knight for bishop, Alireza will grind down, and rook and knight, he also will grind down. I don't like this, David. I don't like this at all. The knight is going to play on the dark squares.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to rush either. That white bishop wasn't going to be a great piece anytime soon. I think Hikaru would probably have preferred to just plant his knight back on e6 and just sat there. But maybe a bit of impatience. We'll see. The white knight has actually quite a nice square now. Yes, it had to step back, but it's coming forward. It's going to be hitting the bishop, gaining time. Everything's going to be on dark squares for white. The light squared bishop is not going to be a very useful piece.
Hikaru has dipped under 30 seconds. He's committed about half his remaining time to make this move. We're about to see our first time scramble of the match, which will give us a huge indication, the form of the players, because we're going to get a lot of these. Hikaru doesn't like his position. He's got 16 seconds on the clock.
He agrees with us. I think he regrets that knight for bishop exchange. He realizes now he's going to be sat passive forever.
It's 11 seconds, David.
Oh, this is going to tell us so much, as you say. We're going to learn about the player's form, the player's instincts, the speed. But Alireza, he's upping the tempo, if anything. He knows he can knuckle down on the clock now.
No, Hikaru's definitely losing control also a little bit with the nerves here. 5 seconds, and this is not an opponent that he can save a lot of these games against. Against anybody else in the world, he can. But we're about to see F5. Alireza's advantage is building.
Yeah, the pawns
3
are marching.
seconds.
Oh, he wants the queens off the board. Alireza will want to avoid that if possible, but even exchanging here looks tempting. You bring the rook up to the top of the board, you start pushing your pawn. Some calculation required. What do we think? Queen exchange or not? He does go for it.
Queen trade, and now the black king is deflected. Alireza has to make a very... Wow, no rook e4 now. Very prudent. 2 seconds for Hikaru. He's going to lose on time.
Oh, that was such a classy move from Alireza. Just cutting out any rook behind the passed pawns there. The pawns are marching. The knight is going to be the perfect support. The rook attack, though, has to move. I mean, it's just an avalanche of pawns here. No way to stop it long term.
Oh my gosh, Hikaru's making moves with literally 0.2 seconds remaining. He pre-moved that one, David. But how is he going to defend against the e-pawn?
He's not. I don't think he is. Rook forward. Okay, he drops his bishop back. Still living life on the edge. 2 seconds.
6. Oh, king f4. The king is walking as well. Hikaru loses on time. Wow, how did he? What? How is that possible? He has 1.0 seconds remaining. He's literally bent time, David.
Less than 0.1 seconds on his clock when he made that move, Hikaru. Oh, it's so close. But he's just blundered a knight fork. Has he? Oh, he gets a pawn off the board. Not the right way from Alireza.
This is unbelievable. Alireza is also down to 2 seconds, by the way. Is Hikaru going to hold this?
Wow, do miracles happen? This is going to change the whole nature of the match. Can Alireza win this game? Still up a pawn, still with a winning position.
Oh my gosh, king up. Yeah, it looks over, David. It looks over. He's going to lose the second pawn, and it's all gone wrong for Hikaru.
There we go, a shake of the head as well. He's a couple of seconds down. The knight fork ends it. Hikaru goes down in the first game. Alireza takes the win.
Incredible. Very tense. He actually fought back so well there. But 12 minutes off the game clock, the very first time scramble that we experienced, and Alireza gets it done. Hikaru's going to want to shake that first game off. That's a very common thing that happens in these matches. You want to just get going into the second one.
Yeah, and luckily there is no pause. They're straight back in. And here we see a transposition to a Catalan opening. Very trendy one, but noticeably Hikaru gets the queens off. He wants to play without too much risk. This is a very trendy variation. Also quite a historic one, where white often brings the knight into the center and uses this Catalan bishop to try and apply some pressure on the diagonal. But he's not playing for huge advantages here, just a little something.
No, certainly not. And I've seen Nihal Sarin also play this with the white pieces. He likes to get those positions that he can very slowly work on. Not a position where Alireza's strengths are portrayed, but that's generally chess now with the black pieces. You take what you get. Never mind, he goes for a dynamic solution. F5, leaving the backwards pawn on E6, but stopping white from advancing in the center of the board. And now Hikaru's going to really have to decide, like, do I try to build this up with my F-pawn? Hey, that was a really convincing, first game from Firouzja.
Yeah, it was just 1 or 2 moments where he almost let Hikaru back in, but it always looked like he was in the driver's seat. Even when he dropped lower on the clock, it felt like Alireza never panicked fully. While for Hikaru making moves with barely a second left, that was incredible to see. Just a glimpse into the future there.
There's a player in the NBA, I think his nickname is Time Lord, might be Grant Williams, right? And I think Hikaru now fittingly has that nickname as well. I don't know how that happened. There were milli microseconds there, and he's gone into a much longer thing than milliseconds here, trying to understand this move F5. It leaves a big square on E5 you can exploit, but not really clear with which piece. And then do you prepare an advancement in the center? Do you simply bring your rook? He's trying to solve this position. This time control, David, gives you a lot of luxuries to think this much, but at some point he's got to start moving a little faster.
Exactly. Still very early days, of course, but Hikaru has been the slower of the two in the early stages. This is still well-known opening theory. According to our databases here, the most popular move is for the white knight to go to A5, just to tickle the black queen side a bit. If you don't know it, though, it's hard to find. It's maybe not the most natural.
Yes, and the idea of that move is you don't let the light-squared bishop move. If the bishop moved, you would take the pawn. If the pawn moves to attack your knight, you jump further into the position, but you also reroute backwards to the weakened central square. So in many ways, when you tell me it, I can explain it to people, right? But if you don't know that move, it's not so clear. Hikaru is now under 3 minutes on the clock, by the way.
Yeah, confident Hikaru would make any move. Not necessarily knight a5, he'd make any move within 10, 20 seconds. But I think still finding his groove here. He plays pawn to f3, very much all in now on this idea of expanding in the center. Kicking away the black knight, I think, is maybe the more pressing issue there. Not too many tempting squares for the knight to retreat to.
And so now does black commit to f4, or is that too much?
It has been played before, Levy. Pawn to f4 is on the database. The alternative is to just continue, as he otherwise would have done. Pawn to b6, and when the pawn steps forward, just to move the knight, and later develop the black bishop out. But okay, your move, more dynamic, more Alireza style.
Yeah, certainly more Alireza style, but wow, Hikaru giving away the bishop pair and using this pawn structure. Black in the long run will have a huge weakness in the center of the board, that e6 pawn, and white on the next move, I would like to think, would play f3 to f4, right? Exactly.
Yeah, almost definitely making up for the lack of his dark squared bishop, for the one he's just traded off, by planting pawns and trying to control the dark squares. And it's all about that Catalan pressure on the diagonal, keeping the bad bishop at home. Yeah, big commitment. Long term, black is doing quite well. But yeah, maybe the next few moves, it's going to be some difficult questions for Alireza.
I feel like the Norwegian who was just here would love this position with white. Like, he would really find a way to just absolutely torture you. I mean, the rook is going to the 7th rank, the e6 pawn, the b7 pawn, the knight is about to jump in. I was wondering why Hikaru didn't go for f4, and now he might never get to go f4.
Yeah, I think he was fearing this move anyway.
Yeah.
Pawn to g5, just the immediate tension, trading off pawns. But as you say, the white bishop is not happy about what's just happened. You mentioned Magnus. I think he would win this position with white. And with black.
I see. Against either player. No, we're not gonna. We're not throwing anybody under the bus. But I wonder with white if you can walk your king to e2, and then move your bishop to h3. Like, that's the configuration that I really like. You target the pawn like that. Your king protects the center pawn. But I don't know if you have the time. I like knight a5 as well, though.
Yeah, it's the idea you mentioned. Partly pressure on b7, partly just rerouting into the center. Nice outpost, and okay, tricky move from Alireza, gaining a bit of time.
Maybe Hikaru won't see it.
He's asking the rook to step forward onto some, yeah, slightly unideal squares there. This would walk into a double attack, of course, but I think he just wants to cover the 7th rank with gain of tempo.
Right, and since you can't counter him, on the very next move, he might play a rook b8 or something like that. But actually, I don't know what black's next move is after rook c2.
Yeah, maybe he can get tricky, try to bring his other bishop out now with some skewers.
That is it. That is it. Just completely leaving that pawn there. You read Alireza's mind. And the position not looking particularly pleasant after bishop d7. Wow, but now he brings the rook to trade it. But he's just going to lose the pawn in the long run, maybe.
Yeah, big moment. Apparently he has to find this, otherwise he's significantly worse now, Alireza. How likely do you think it is?
I think it's quite likely. And there it is. I'm not sure. Back against the wall, he finds the move, and the position is back to equal dynamically. White is going to really struggle to get the light squared bishop active.
Exactly. And the longer this game goes on with that bishop asleep, the greater black's chances will become. The bishop pair, that's such a weapon in the endgame, and the outside pawn majority, 2 versus 1 on this queen side, that might become a factor later.
Totally playing with other people's pieces here. Can you trade the rooks and play h4, give up the pawn, and then play f4?
Oh, I like it.
Well, I know you like pawns too. Like, you take on h4 and make me prove it, but I really like the position after you get the pawn to f4, even if you're down a pawn.
Maybe we show this just very quickly while Hikaru thinks about what to do next. Rook takes rook is the variation we're discussing. Levy wants to give up a pawn, and maybe there's a question about whether black takes it. Maybe he just maintains the structure, but I do like this transition. This is a beautiful little trio here, and the white bishop is back alive. Yes, black has a pawn up, but doubled h1s don't make a great impression. I think this is a fantastic option here for Hikaru.
Only problem is Alireza doesn't have to do this at all. Not checkers. Not draft. You can just play h4, h6, and white is never getting the bishop out. In fact, I almost feel he will play it.
Yeah, exactly. At least then you give black an isolated g-pawn maybe, and oh, Hikaru just needs to speed up. What's he doing? He's under 1 minute. Alireza has almost 3. This is reckless.
This is how I play this format, by the way, which is a very bad sign. But I remember I've played in those various speeches championships, and the 5+1, you just feel you have so much time. You don't want to make a move, you're overthinking. Before you know it, you're in a scramble. You've equalized the game, but you don't have any more time. So 30 seconds is bananas.
It really is. And Hikaru, he's like the king of 3-minute chess. He likes playing without increment, ideally, but Tidal Tuesdays nowadays, they're up to 5 minutes, and his results haven't matched. Look at him. He's reacting. He just can't find a move. He's frozen. Are there tech issues? It must be a tech issue.
Oh.
Oh, no!
Something's happened.
Not tonight.
I just lost 20 seconds because it disconnected me. Like, do I get 20 seconds more, or what's the plan? I lost 20 seconds because it disconnected me.
Okay.
It disconnected me.
Wow.
I mean,
That is Skype.
I got disconnected and lost 25 seconds there.
Okay. We're gonna check it.
Like, it's back now, but I lost 25 seconds.
We will be able to rewind.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Controversy in the arena. What to do in this situation? There's a tricky decision to be made for the arbiter.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we just have a way to add the time back in the middle of the game, but I'm not sure Alireza knows what happened. Oh.
Okay, we're getting a lowdown. Alireza is giving some time back. I'm not sure whether the arbiters will step in, amend the clocks.
I get back also? Did I get back?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, drama early in the match.
But giving back time is not the same as having it on your clock.
Exactly, especially when you've got over 2 minutes, the opponent has 10 seconds. Give this position to Hikaru with 10 seconds against 2, it's going to be tough defense.
Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely not the same, you know? I wish they can just...
Agree a draw, move on? What do you think?
Actually, agree to draw would be okay because it's relatively equal. It would be much worse if the position was in somebody's favor. It was also a very interesting position. I wish we get to see it played out.
Okay, I think we're awaiting a decision. Neither player looks ready to move.
Oh, we've just received word they will be adding the time back via the magic of technology.
Okay. Some quick work from our tech team here. We see the clocks, yeah. The black clock's still ticking, but of course we will revert back to the oceans of time that Alireza had relatively here.
Yes, for sure he will not be restarting with 1 minute on the clock. What's interesting, David, is they've had about 2-3 minutes to think about the position.
Yeah.
For these guys, that's an ocean of time. Absolute, you know, eternity.
Yeah.
And there we go. We're off.
Here we go. Applause in the audience.
Yes, applause in the audience. That was great, by the way. Listen, live chess on these computers, esports style, that was about as quick of a tech fix as we could ask for.
Exactly, and good sportsmanship. Alireza didn't make a fuss, and we're back in the game. He's now trying to calculate what to do next. The bishop hit, and he will be retreating it to likely one of these 2 squares. And, okay, what to do next? He's going to be looking at what Hikaru might be threatening down the line. Will he be sliding his rook across to hit the bishop? No, Hikaru does play this f4 move we talked about. Controversial, but he's now trying to take this pawn with gain of tempo, and he will be hitting the bishop if his knight ever lands on the square.
That's a gnarly move. Now, will he take immediately on b7? And with what? Is he just looking for like a liquidation, like knight b7, rook b7? That could be...
Could be. Try to bail out, get everything off opposite color bishops. Pawn down, who cares? Should still be a draw, but maybe even taking with the bishop would work because he does gain time against black's bishop. The knight will gain time against the other one.
Yeah,
Crazy move.
I always miss moves like pawn takes pawn, bishop takes pawn, rook g7 check. Like, and then that move in my games is always losing. You know, it's just a really random move. Maybe it's completely fine here, but I would be concerned. The big question is Hikaru still trying to press for anything, or is he satisfied with a draw?
I think Hikaru would love a draw here. I think just the clock situation, the fact he's playing against the bishop pair. I'm not sure he would have found f4, you know, if the time situation hadn't happened there. If he was still in the thick of things, if he still had to move instantly. He had that 2-3 minutes, like you said, to try and work things out. f4 now on the board, and clock's dropping. Alireza down to almost the 1 minute mark. Okay, it is your move there, knight takes b7. This is more pragmatic. He does gain time. He wants the rooks off, and he just wants to make this draw.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to take with the rook here. That hits the rook on f7. Black at the end of this sequence will be up a pawn, but it's not a position you will ever win.
Exactly. Easily blockaded as well. We'll see that play out. The rooks will surely leave the board. Reckless to keep them on now. Nothing much to think about. And maybe Hikaru will save the h-pawn and then just walk his king into the center.
Now, does Alireza... Oh!
It's happened again.
Hikaru's disconnected one more time.
I mean, if my time's running, I'm disconnected again.
Yeah.
Wow.
I played rook f7. I played rook takes f7.
I think it would be fair to declare a draw here.
Played rook f7.
Alireza has won on time, at least according to what we see.
I mean,
No, but of course this will not be a win for black.
I think at this point, declare the draw.
I played
Move
rook
on to
takes
the next
f7. I mean, you have a screen capture.
Yes, absolutely. We capture your screen. We can go back. So we are talking about events, what's happening. I don't have any answers, unfortunately, right now. So as soon as I get answers, I'll let you know. Guys, can we abort this game?
call it draw.
Okay, can
Yeah, can we just call it a draw and keep going?
Actually, I think there might be technical
Sure, it
difficulties
doesn't happen, no?
adding a result that didn't happen
Disconnecting,
as opposed to just
keep
canceling a game.
disconnecting. We don't
Yeah,
know.
we should make sure he doesn't get
Yes,
disconnected.
yes. So this game is aborted, and we're not gonna continue until it's fixed. Okay?
We could make the game draw. We could make the game draw. The
So
game
the
that.
previous game, you're okay with
Yeah,
the draw?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. You're sure?
Yeah, I'm fine with the draw. But
Good sportsmanship, but also logical
Okay.
outcomes.
Yes.
Just for everyone at home, the position was dead drawn at the end there, if the rooks had come off as Hikaru planned.
What happened between the first match and this match? Were there technical difficulties in the first match?
We've let some hackers in the building.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. Yeah.
Don't say that, David. Don't say that.
Any landlocked in the local network?
Yeah, it's just hopefully just a quick reboot for everyone at home. Slight smile on Hikaru's face.
I'll get up. Yeah, go ahead.
Who do you think this kind of disruption is going to favor? Hikaru does look a bit flustered. Alireza just looks pretty chilled right now.
I think they're both professionals. I mean, it could fluster maybe me, but I think both these guys are pros. Hikaru was like laughing. I mean, I would have been frantic, you know? Every game is important. Qualification for the Esports World Cup is important, and it's just not working. I did, maybe the production can tell me, they were replacing one of the PCs before something started. It might have been Hikaru's, and if it's causing some issues now, that would be bad. So
that is a very possible explanation. I mean, like you said earlier, they have been choosing their own mouse, their own chairs, everything, and yeah, maybe just a small change up in gear there caused this blip, but hopefully just temporary.
yes, hopefully temporary. We're going to take a short break. We're going to figure a few things out. Hopefully you're still with us. What's chess without a little drama? We'll see you on the other side, hopefully with everything all working smooth. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2025-2026 Speed Chess Championship semifinal. It's day one. It's match two. An hour has gone by, David. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We've only played one full game of chess, but it seems we have fixed our technical difficulties. How are you, David?
I'm great. You know, I feel like 3 years older by now, but we got to chat about life, and I'm hoping the players weren't too stressed during that break. I just want to get going again, though.
Thing is, you get cold. Firouzja won that first game. Hikaru was applying a little bit of pressure, but then tanked, and anything could happen. But we do see the players back in. They are loading in the first set of earbuds, followed by the second over-the-ear headphones. Construction style, as if they were drilling on the street. You really cannot hear anything. Hopefully, they do not want to hear us. And whatever happened in that game, whether they was annulled completely or they got the half a point, it really only matters, David, I think, for like prize money, ultimately. But Alireza has a one-game lead.
Exactly. One game, maybe he'll regret it wasn't more. He did have a time advantage, at least, when there were some disturbances earlier. But for Hikaru, he can settle back in, try to get his first win of the match. And we're just waiting now for game 3 to begin. Both players looking calm again.
That means, by the way, that we go back to the colors of game 1, because it actually does matter. Like, if game 2 technically was never played, then that means that Hikaru will now get another game with white. If it was counted as a draw, then Alireza will get another game with white, which is a huge deal, because that game kind of felt like a throwaway game at that point. And that's exactly what we see.
Exactly, and it is back to game 1, as we see another Queen's Gambit declined, another of these variations with the bishop on e7, and this time Hikaru does play the correct move order, playing pawn to c6. Earlier he played pawn to b6, allowing white to step forward. That would have been super strong, but okay, by transposition, we're back, and this was the game that Alireza was able to grind down. In the near future, I was going to say, playing pawn to h4, this time a more modest approach.
Right, pawn to h3 instead of pawn to h4, controlling the g4 square and not allowing Hikaru's knight. And a ton is happening, by the way. White has sacrificed the pawn, pushing it all the way to c7, David. Counterattack with b4, the knight jumps into b5. All of this is clearly well-known theory.
Yeah, this is a throwback to a clash in a world championship between Magnus Carlsen and Vishy Anand, and I believe there the correct move was pawn to a4. Magnus actually went down in that game to Anand back in 2014. But okay, this is very theoretical, as you say. I would expect the players to know their stuff, so maybe I'm going to kind of ignore the question mark for now. Perhaps Hikaru has a nice idea in mind, but yeah, this pawn on c7 has such a cramping effect on black's pieces.
So let me ask you, was the best move for white then to play a4?
I think it might have been.
Put a queen there? I don't know, something to justify it, right? He plays rook c1. It looks like he's just chucking away the whole queen side, going all in with his c-pawn. It looks a bit scary, but if you can't push that pawn through for white, you're just going to lose. And okay, now a4 for black played, so he kind of evens it out.
Exactly, and the whole idea is that black wants to establish a protected pass pawn, something that will live forever on b3 here. And if you do capture that one, then everything comes with check. White can't castle, and whoa, this must be opening preparation. Check this out, the first brilliancy of this semi-final. White is trying to deflect the two black pieces away from covering d6. Then he'll leap in with his knight and kick away the blockading queen.
I have to say, for the average person, and probably those listening to this commentary right now, knight g5 just looks inexplicable. You jump with a knight like that because normally you're going to go checkmate somebody. This is the second move of a Greek gift sacrifice. Nothing to do with that. Has only to do with, as you said, a square that is. It doesn't even make sense how you should approach this. But by the way, what does black do now? Does he take with the bishop, or does he take with the knight, or does he do none of those things?
Wow, free piece. He chooses to ignore it. As you say there, he needed to at least keep one guardian over the d6 square so the white knight couldn't jump. That would have not just won maybe the black queen, but also promoted. So he keeps everything defending the square instead. I'm not sure who this helps, this piece exchange. Maybe black, whose queen can at least now move and maybe hit the white knight in the near future. That's another reason it was important to stop white from cementing that knight with the pawn on a4. And we see the first knight trade, and ooh, crazy.
Apparently DE was the better move. I don't understand. Like, knight e4 is not given a question mark, but I saw white has gained an advantage, which means that you have to take with a pawn and put the knight in the middle probably, which I don't know how you can possibly explain that. Alireza has this ability to find these little moves, like queen c2 is such a dynamic move. It's just understanding you don't need to castle, you don't take on b4. What does queen c2 even do?
Yeah, I think he'd want to bring the queen forward to defend the knight. I do have a feeling that castles is a mistake here because the white knight might find itself trapped. Not only can the black queen attack the knight, but the rook can also slide forward, and there's no way home.
But you can't even take it because you would promote, but I guess in the long run you would just put the other rook to c8, and then you would find a way to, and that's definitely what Hikaru's trying to do. He's trying to trap the knight, as well as maybe some knight c3, like he's trying to just get in there at the right moment. It doesn't quite work, but that's always an idea. And Alireza deep in the tank. If he pulls out queen c2, I'll be super impressed.
Exactly. Either it's a big use of time and he doesn't find the right move, might be suffering, or it's a great investment of a minute or two if he finds that move. It just pins down the black queen. The black queen cannot move, therefore, because white would be able to promote. Queen c2, will he find it? By far the best move in this position.
We see a live look there at the audience. Shout out. Well, it's like, just like the Jumbotron, and just as exciting.
Exactly.
You know? It's like watching football. I went to Arsenal-Chelsea. Terrible match to bring up for this example. It was 0-0 for 96 minutes. But, yes, we need to get some chants going. You know, I'm not trying to get everybody to start yelling, but we got to have some player chants.
Exactly.
You know? Every player in all these leagues has some sort of chant that the fans yell.
Okay,
come up with.
Make some noise in the audience. We want to hear it. You have the chance. The players can't hear. Let's go.
Oh, they apparently they totally can hear, by the way. But yes, they're going for a nice defense. You know, that's an American thing. Okay, Alireza does not know the best way forward. He is contemplating, is he maybe going to go with queen c2 and queen c6? Is he going to play AB and just move the king? That sometimes is possible in these dynamic positions. Maybe you go rook c6 first, because you want the rook to lead the way and then the queen. Is he looking at, you know, short castles? I love to be in their brains when they spend a minute and a half to make a decision.
Exactly. At this point, is he still calculating, or is he cursing himself for freezing? He needs to move.
Or has he disconnected?
Oh, don't say it. Don't do it, Levy. Don't tempt fate.
No, probably not.
Okay, body language says he's just frustrated, can't find the best move. And I think on paper, this is his type of position. It's a bit wild, it's a bit chaotic. He's got pressure, he's got a strong pass pawn, but it is quite theoretical. It's very direct, and that has meant Hikaru's barely spent any time at all.
Wait, sorry, but he has a minute remaining on the clock. He is aware it is his move, right? And he goes for f3. Wow, and that is a very huge commitment because bishop h4 comes with a check.
Ooh, big, big move. He's definitely been looking at that check, calculating. It's been given a question mark, at least on my screen, this last move, the pawn push. Another idea would be knight to c3, as you mentioned, just giving back a pawn, but relieving some pressure. There we see the blue arrow, the computer's best choice, knight c3.
And so the idea is you simply go down a pawn, and black will, in the meantime, play something like a b5, b4 to catch up. Is that the point?
Exactly. While Hikaru thinks we'll quickly put it on the board, knight to c3. This is a variation, not the game. We would see some exchanges, and at the very end, b5, as you say, Levy. Pawn to b4, very quick.
And why can't I play like queen b1 and stop it? I guess you play rook b6. Yeah, okay. So Hikaru will queen b7. He'll definitely find this.
Yeah, and he's coming. And actually, the pawn just can't move on. Without the knight, you can never break the blockade on this square once the rook slides to c8. So big moment for Hikaru. Apparently giving a check, not as good as the white king just moves. This is, I mean, it's got to be tempting, though.
Bishop h4 in a position like this, if it doesn't actually do anything useful, could just lose the game straight up, because you maroon the bishop on the outskirts of the board, it no longer controls d6, and there you go, you see it after king e2. If Hikaru doesn't have a good follow-up, yeah, like you have to really commit, and this doesn't even work. It's not even good. You win some material, but the attack is overwhelming on the other side of the board. And apparently it's not even queen e1.
It's not even queen e1. This is what I thought, and the knight would be trapped, but apparently there's something even stronger. Now queen c2.
Yeah, queen c5.
Oh, wow.
We do have a move.
Okay, it is.
We don't have a move. That was the board clicking back. Little move sounds. So both guys are just going to commit to giving us a time scramble in this game. This is why 3+1 is so exciting. The pace of the game disallows these deep thoughts. And I wonder if this was a match 3-0, Hikaru would play whatever opening he wants. But he's playing these Queen's Gambit declines, grinding it down. And sometimes it can be difficult because it's a position that requires the finesse of a classical game. But you have like a minute to make 3 big decisions, and then you're in a time scramble. Like, look at this position. This is insanity. It's torture to come up with moves here with a minute on the clock.
Yeah, this is wild. Playing your best openings, playing these solid ones, as you say, is black.
Oh!
Ooh, means you walk into
Okay.
prep, and we see a mistake.
Wow. Bishop h4 is a huge decision from Hikaru. I mean, it's check. He definitely saw this coming. Now, he's likely not to commit to knight f2 unless he has totally figured things out. So I do wonder what the follow-up is going to be here.
Yeah, there are other tempting moves. Maybe the black queen will slide to hit the knight, for example. Oh, wow, king to f1. That is odd, because now the rooks don't connect. And
Okay, but finding, I mean, knight g3, it makes sense, and he plays it. Wow, and now the bishop is going to hit the pawn and stop knight d6.
yeah, that is a huge gain for Hikaru. If Alireza thought that this was black's move anyway, he would far rather have had his king forward on e2 and, wow, sacrifice. What's he
Wow.
sacrificing, Levy?
He's sacrificing the rook, but he's not even moving it, which is a little bit less exciting. But now Hikaru has a really big decision to make. I mean, he did all of this to take the rook, but is that actually the best move? Or does he go for queen d7?
I don't think there's time. I think knight to d6 would be a bone cruncher there, forcing the pawn through for promotion. I don't think black has the time. And he goes back, Hikaru.
But now g4 should simply win the game on the spot, no? Or like, how do you...
Exactly, g4, e4, something kicking the knight away. Wow, that is crazy. Not just retreating, but giving away any counterplay. Wow.
He totally believed him. Wow, he's giving him counterplay with the a-pawn, maybe. These decisions are mystifying.
It's the time, it's the clock, 20 seconds for Alireza. Why would he take a pawn that's not going anywhere when he could hit a knight? Knight to d6, we talked about that magical square, and now maybe there's no time. The black rook will be able to come over and block, or at least one of them.
Why is the other rook not coming? I don't get it. Maybe Hikaru was worried about some discovered attacks. But David, this is very different. In the previous game, Alireza had a huge time advantage. Now it's Hikaru who's going to try to trick him down the stretch.
Exactly, and in such a crazy position, he's got very good chances. Black missed the opportunity a few moves ago to block the g3 square with his bishop. The white rook in the corner would have been trapped, but now the white rook will be sliding in the near future. And all of the white pieces are connected again.
But this is not what you wanted on d6. It's almost like you wish you could eat your own piece, but you can't. And he goes a3, deflecting the knight away from the defense. Bishop goes back to h2. 8 seconds for Firouzja.
Ooh, it's got to be stopped. Knight d6, you have to stop it. There we go. Hikaru covers the square, shake of the head, but okay, it's one of the best positions he's had in a while until this last move. Question mark for the most natural moves. This is a wild game.
Yeah, bishop all the way back maybe to f8, or you have to find a way to reposition here and not go down on time. He's wincing at the screen because he doesn't know exactly what to do, but you want to make a move. The other guy has 3 seconds.
He wants to surprise Alireza somehow.
Wow.
There we go. What is this? He's blocked the c-file, but at what cost?
Oh, he's winning the pawn.
Oh, it's level material after
1 second for
all of that.
Alireza.
Gotta move, gotta move.
Rook
a3.
Yeah, rook a3, but rook c3. Firouzja's doing such a good job containing everything and defending everything.
Oh, this is his chance, though, Hikaru, to get his first win of the match. Knight on f5 looks super strong, though.
Queen c3, by the way. Queen c3 is like various mate threats are coming. You could also take on c5, maybe.
It was on his mind. He wants the d5 pawn instead. Black has several weaknesses, isolated pawns. Bishop for knight exchange. The rook getting kicked away. Alireza is going to win a pawn now.
He's going to win a pawn, and he's completely crashing through.
Hikaru missed his chance. Now he's low on the clock. The rooks connect. Alireza defends everything.
And Alireza's looking at a 2-game lead here. Wow, the king is running.
He's allowed some exchanges, something to take on e3. It would be queen versus 2 rooks in that scenario. Not taken by Hikaru.
What? Now the white king is like in the sniper's line. Queen c6.
Oh, this has to end in checkmate. Surely the white king was so open, but no, he's closed all the lines, and that is a pin on the black rook. Queen's off.
Yes, queen's off, and the endgame is just winning for white.
Surely those pawns are so good. Pawn up, but they're all connected as well. All the knight dropping back, allowing checks. This has been an error-strewn game.
Oh my gosh, king f5 is incoming. The b pawn is queening. David Black might win.
Oh my gosh, Hikaru, he's turning on the magic, but the rook does block. Anyone's game. 3 results possible. 2 seconds versus 3 seconds. One more twist, surely.
Oh my goodness, Black might be playing for a win. He is.
Wow, Hikaru's turned it around. Rook and pawn endgame. He's going to end up with at least 1 pawn up. 2 pawns up, potentially.
This is unfathomable, David. It's a winning endgame. He's just going to queen the pawn because the king is cut off. How did he do it?
Well, this is easy stuff now for Hikaru. That was magic. The Lucina position is incoming. The white king is cut along the e-file. Nothing to do here. Alireza, you can see it on his face. What?
David, how did he do that?
We'll have to break it down a bit later, talk in more detail, but look at this. He's built the bridge. He's going to block from behind any checks with his rook, and there we go. Hikaru gets his first win.
Unbelievable game. The London Bridge has been built. It is not falling down. 1.5, 1.5. That's all you can ask for. I'm completely speechless. What a game.
That was a roller coaster, to say the least. I mean, the number of small errors, the number of blunders, the number of missed opportunities, it had everything. But Hikaru, that's the type of position he needs, that type of endgame where he has some counterplay. Yes, he was a pawn down for most of it, but he had the stronger nerves.
That looked completely hopeless. It just looked like the Armada was just walking down the center line. He also kept kind of grimacing and shaking his head as if still some technical problems were persisting or just not making a move fast enough. Because you really get comfortable at your home setup. You're not really always comfortable on the road with the studio and everything. And he still managed to win.
Exactly. So impressive, Hikaru Nakamura. But Alireza is going to be kicking himself. He cannot tilt now, though. He just needs to lock in and go again. It's still level scores. But maybe a glimpse of what's to come later in the bullet.
Yeah, for sure. I think the way people end up losing these types of games to Hikaru is the way people lose rallies to Alcaraz. Like, you've beaten him 3 times in the same set of 20 shots, and he's just getting to the ball every single time. What helps Firouzja is it's a 4-hour match, and he's definitely like, this will happen many times. So just lock it down. But I do have to say, he is doing a better job than just locking it down. His position is very comfortable here with Black, very curious how Hikaru is going to try to ask questions.
Yeah, this is one of the main lines of the Roy Lopez, the Spanish, especially with putting a bishop out to c5. White has 2 paths. Either you go super direct, quick d4, or you play a slower game. And this tension between the bishops, it's just about who will blink first. A capture, White opens up the f-file. That's a matter of taste. Yes, White's pawn structure is compromised. The other capture, Black gets the semi-open file against the backward d-pawn, and okay, it's Alireza who retreats.
I feel like nowadays, this is the position in about 20% of 2700 plus chess. These strange Italians where you maneuver the pieces a little bit or you sack a piece on e5 like Hans Gukesh at the last round of the tournament in the Netherlands. But here, obviously, White's just trying to, at some point, play the move d3 to d4. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what else you can do in the position.
Exactly. Often we see knight maneuvers round in front of the king first. Just, yeah, a bit of a mirror image there with the knights, and then it's about who strikes first. But whoa, rook a8, that's opportunistic.
Yeah, rook a8. That's very rarely you get to just make a move directly across to the other side of the board, and it's safe, and it's very mildly annoying. But why can't I just not hang my queen in one move?
Exactly. Later, at the right moment, he'll play maybe c5, get the queen off the back rank, bring the queen across, kick the rook out. But yeah, I like these kind of tickle moves. Especially in blitz chess, you just annoy the opponent, ask them some questions, and we see those knight maneuvers now.
Now, is Black trying to play for d5, which will be okay, or he's just going to try to trade the rook off?
But
all right.
Now maybe d5, maybe c5 if you can get both. Great space. You force White to break the tension in the center.
How about the Black knight coming to f4? That looks very unpleasant. And it looks like Black is almost first to that knight jump, which in these types of positions can be quite annoying. I don't know, there's some attacks brewing sometimes, but with d4 coming, it won't be as easy to land, potentially.
Exactly. D4 is a nice move to get in, finally, but there have been so many exchanges that White's extra space in the center doesn't really amount to much. Black's never going to feel cramped at all, and now is actually fighting for the squares and can at some point even block in the White bishop. I think Alireza is going to be very happy here.
Do you take on d4 with the e-pawn and then play c4, or do you just play c4?
I would be tempted to take if I was feeling ambitious, but if you want to keep control, maybe c4.
Because your rook and knights are targeting the pawn. Okay, you could do neither of those things. Just make an improving move. White can take on the left side, the right side, push, or do nothing, and he has to make a decision very fast. Chess is hard. It's much easier to be like 1100 and just be like, pawn for pawn, I don't know. But he goes back with the bishop, he's avoiding that, and Black takes the diagonal right away.
Exactly, and that's the difference with the knights, as you mentioned. The black knight can easily come in, especially if it locks up in the center. White's knight will always get exchanged if it does land on f5. It just feels easier for black to play somehow. More space, more kind of options. White's just kind of sitting, waiting, unless he commits now.
I kind of feel like Hikaru's waving on the young fellow. I feel like he's backing up, and he's almost like waving him on, like, come in with the pawns, with the knight, like, go for an attack. He's almost baiting Alireza into another one of these games where it feels like he's putting on the pressure. Alireza very content to play a symmetrical structure and just kind of rely on piece activity, but it does feel a little bit like Hikaru's like, come and get me.
Exactly. I think it's a style thing. Ultimately, the position is just equal,
Yeah.
and he knows most openings he chooses. Probably Alireza will have a solution, so he just wants a longer game. He can sit, not risk too much with White. You go around a bit and wait for your chance a bit later. At least it feels like a good way to recover for both players after the chaos of the previous one.
I was just about to say, this is certainly the most boring game we've had by far.
We can allow one or two of these.
Yes, for sure. In some Spanishes, if things don't get going, they don't get going. Although, I will say Hikaru is definitely prepping a ton of Spanishes right now for the upcoming candidates tournament, probably taking like ideas in all lines, not just in these solid lines and in everything. Now you can put a bishop on c5, a knight on e7, God knows what else. So, however, the position's not totally dead. We see Hikaru here not finding a very easy next move.
Yeah, he wants to commit. I think he wants to push forward with his pawn. That would be very ambitious. Shout out to our audience there. But yeah, there's just no good waiting moves left. All the pieces are maximized. Rook on the open file, queen centralized, knights. Nice to see everyone enjoying this position, maybe more than the players are.
Yes, it's great to stare at them and feel the tension in the room. I was in there. I'm sure it's there. And especially for these super high stakes matches, it's very nice. Queen d1. Well, he wants to put the bishop back to the square that he moved it away from, David.
Exactly, deciding the white bishop inferior to its counterpart, so maybe trade them off. Bishop to b3 incoming. And yeah, it still looks very stable, but ooh, knight to f4. Is that a sacrifice, or is that pawn poisoned? Ooh, he's asking for a repetition now. I was looking at the e5 pawn, but Hikaru brings his queen back to d2.
And it was not a sacrifice, probably because of pawn takes. Why was it not a sacrifice? I'm trying to like figure it out live on the air, and I don't.
Maybe there were double attacks. Maybe we show this very quickly. If a pawn had been captured on e5, White would have had 2 loose pieces, I believe. And let's try and show it as Hikaru ponders what to do next. Take. And queen c7, queen c5, I'm not sure which one.
But
one of the two.
Knight d3? I guess knight h, okay.
Knight takes h3, and maybe black is the happier of the two, even if materials level.
Got it.
But okay, look at what's happened, Levy. Queen d2 and pawn to g5. Let's go.
There it is.
Allez.
Yes. Reza. Firuja. You know, g5 is... That's what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for the Firuja moment. Fire on the board, it's in the last name, and Hikaru has baited him once again into not just an attacking position, also a lead on time. So he's got Firuja right where he wants him, potentially taking over the game and up on clock. That's perfect.
Exactly. And I wonder what this last move is about. Maybe he's just going to plant his bishop back defensively in case of any oncoming pawn storm attack. But it definitely feels like he's not been making any progress. Hikaru just waiting.
But that's exactly right. That's what we talked about. He might not feel like he has progress, but if Alireza wants to play for more, that's when he's going to get his chances. And this match will be ultimately decided in the scrambles. It's not going to be over by move 10 or 20. Both guys are going to get to 20 seconds on the clock, and that is when they're going to have to be super clutch. We'll see it in 3-1. We'll see it in 1-1. We still have 47 minutes of this format. Alireza takes on d4. That's not really a move, David, that you play if you want to attack somebody.
That's true. That's the type of move where you say, okay, we simplify, maybe exchange some pieces, and Maybe it goes towards equality. Interesting, it's very dynamic. He's given himself a backward, isolated pawn, but he's going to get some squares for his knights to jump to. He goes into the center, and maybe now white will be forced to capture and straighten out the black pawn structure.
And knight d4 wouldn't work. It does. Okay, well, we're about to find out, maybe.
You wanted to say some tactics, right? Bishop takes,
Yes, bishop takes.
queen takes, knight checks, knight forks. He does
Wow.
go for it. Brilliant sacrifice.
I mean, Hikaru certainly saw this. He must have seen this because I saw it, and that would be a very poor sign. He's like 500 points FIDE rated more than me. But I think white has a moment here, maybe like knight f5 or something to just avoid this. You don't have to take it.
Yeah, let's show the idea for everyone at home just very quickly as he actually goes the other way, Hikaru. It's a mistake. Wow, bishop takes g2, the blue arrow appears, Levy. Deflection. That's not hard.
Oh, he totally missed this, I think. He totally missed this.
Wow, we'll very quickly go back and show bishop takes h3 was poisoned if the bishop had been captured. Queen sacrifice, queen takes knight, and very simple knight fork. The queen will drop next move after the white king moves. Black would be up a pawn. Instead, he should have gone into f5, covered some squares. Knight takes b5 and deflection again due to the threat of checkmate now. Wow, and he's just up a pawn for now, but okay, at least one strong knight for Hikaru.
Yeah, not as easy as it seems. There's still there's like 4 forks in the position. Like this is a fork, there's a fork on e7, another fork. Queen e2 is looking to simplify, but I'm sorry, why can't I just, like, I was even thinking take and move the king, but that might be too simple.
Yeah, take move the king. It's very tempting. The king would attack the knight on e2. There would be a threat of a fork, but black could defend
c2.
with this rook coming in. Oh, I don't know. That's not the most ambitious move. Maybe he just wants to play it a bit safer, but the clock is going to play a huge role now. The scramble is incoming. Rook c2 forced to get the rook onto a safe square.
Okay, so now we probably... Takes with check feels correct. What?
What? He wants to force a draw, but the black rook is going to save itself. Or is it? He's going to try and constantly, eternally harass the rook, which needs to stay defending its knight on e2.
Knight e3 and rook d2? Or even rook b2?
Yeah, how's he continuing? Rook d2, maybe the white king will step across.
I'd love to get a close-up of Hikaru, because if he's just super locked in, and this was always his idea, that's one thing. But if he's not happy with the position, that would give us a lot of information. But maybe bishop... No, there's nothing you can do with white. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a great move, by the way, luring the white king onto a square. It will get checked a bit later by a black knight. The black rook will now move. Now it's going to be different after, for example, rook to c2, because the knight check is going to be so strong.
And you can't play knight e3. Hikaru has 3 seconds on the clock. Whoa!
Whoa, why would Alireza play that? Now this knight can be hit. I'm not sure whether by the white knight or by the rook.
Wow, bishop f1! What a move!
Skewer, but we see some tactics. It's a fork, a double attack, and at the end, black saves himself. Oh, pawn up for Alireza, but still far from easy. The white bishop now suddenly super strong.
How do you defend this pawn, by the way?
Can't.
You can't.
Oh, king march, living life on the edge. The f2 pawn drops, back to a pawn up, but the white e pawn couldn't be taken there. It's marching. The king is coming, though. This is a mating net. How does the eval bar still say draw?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's trying to get the rooks off. He wants to win, but the pawn
Yes.
will cost the knight its life.
Yes, that's going to still end in a draw. Very dramatic, and they will play it out, but a draw in the end.
Oh, there we go. Great game, but missed opportunity for Alireza, you would say, after some flurry of tactics there in the middle.
So far, it's not looking completely promising for Alireza, purely on a sample size of a whopping 3. The first game, he was a bit better in the scramble. Then it was Hikaru who was better in the scramble, and I would certainly say there, I mean, Alireza was dominating. The king was pressed up against the last rank, but, I mean, it's 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. And here we see a twist on the London system / Slav. I'm going to say the white bishop came out very, very early. Hikaru reacts in very solid fashion here. And, okay, big question. To take in the center or to push forward, gain space? He has shown kind of fondness for pushing forward, but here it's different as the black b pawn is already advanced.
A throwback opening to like 2007, the Shebanenko Slav A6. Nobody plays like this anymore. Everything is about the center now. Everything is about taking on the c4 square. I mean, who is the last elite grandmaster to play this, by the way?
Oh, it's been a while. I remember prepping this for Peter Svidler as one of his seconds for 2016 candidates, but even then I was thinking it was a bit shaky. Computers like this pawn structure, pawn to c5, giving white extra space, and they find ways to keep that, keep pieces on the board, keep that space advantage. But okay, he goes for the exchange. He wants a more open position potentially. And
after c5, which was not played, instead he took on d5. I think a lot of modern engines then also like h4. Like computers now almost play chess like Go. This might be a terrible analogy because I don't know a huge amount about Go, but they love territory. They just like taking space and then figuring it all out later, much more than humans can understand. None of that matters. Alireza took on d5. We have a similar and symmetrical pawn structure, except black is overextended on the left side of the board. On the queen side, how significant will that be?
Yeah, there are holes. The black knight, for example, cannot come forward to c6. It would be loose. There'll be tactics against that piece. The bishop, therefore, comes out, but slightly blocked, slightly misplaced. I wonder how quick white's development will be in the next few moves. Can he take advantage? Maybe a quick knight to e5 jump. And it looks very harmonious, easy to play for white.
You know who would play knight e5 and h4? Our generic Icy. Like, without even thinking, you know, you just drop him into the position. I feel like Hikaru, in the modern age of computers, is less about playing h-pawn moves in every single game. Hikaru actually went back to old openings that are now ignored and just worked on them. And now you can do that. This is kind of useless for basically everybody here, but like you could actually go back to old, you know, openings that went out of fashion for 10, 15 years at top level and use the engine to make them playable. His position's not very pretty, but good luck cracking it open.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but it is solid. Not too many weaknesses for black. Almost symmetrical pawn structure. Yeah, Arjun, he would be looking at it saying, this is the best Jabava London I've ever seen. Pawn on c2, out the way. The knight on c3 looks great. But okay, maybe Hikaru not enjoying it as much as we thought, spending a bit of time now.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, here in Blitz or Bullet, I would play g4 without even... But I think that move is much stronger if black has already castled. If he hasn't, I mean, it still could be good. Alireza is definitely looking at g4, h4, knight e5, or short castle. Like,
yep.
He's definitely looking at 4 different moves, David, okay? I promise.
And stylistically, it's either knight e5 with pawn pushes, or it's castles without any pawn pushes. So it's kind of 50-50 almost, and now the temptation has to be there. Black has castled. Is it into the storm?
Doesn't this just look awful? Like, it just looks like a terrible position for black, but it's like not. He's just in time to trade off some pieces.
But there will come a moment where he might have to be very accurate to avoid catastrophe. Queen to h3 is very typical checkmate patterns here against the h7 square. Okay, if he doesn't break through, though, if there's no checkmate attack on the black king side, then I can see how it might be fine for black. b4 coming, the knight coming round. Be careful, though, pressure on h7.
And it looks like with black you can just play knight e4, but you definitely can't because white can play f3 as far as I can see, and that just, you lose time because you have to go back to f6, and then you probably just lose the game. So he plays g6. Doesn't look very pretty, and folks at home and in the arena, do not do this. When you have 7 pawns, do not all put them on the same color, please. That's really don't try this at home. But there is no checkmating threat anymore.
He's got enough defensive pieces nearby. Yes, white can slide into some holes, hit a rook, but the rook just moves. The game goes on. I'm trying to think what Alireza would do here. He would want to bring more pieces into the attack, maybe bring this knight round somehow. I could see him bring the bishop forward, maybe f4, type pawn pushes. He wants to attack, he feels it. But no, he goes back.
Wow.
Wants to come forward again. We've seen him play knight g5 already in this match.
Yes, he's trying to put it on the rightful square, but now knight e4 is a very different quality move, although you have to consider some... Knight h5, wow, that is provocative.
g4, Ale, do you play it? Do you kick the knight back? That pawn doesn't move backwards.
Is Hikaru going for f5? Surely not, right?
It's the worst Stonewall Dutch I've ever seen. f5.
Yeah, it's... What was the idea? He knew this was going to happen, so now what, right? Like now, Alireza has to decide what he's committing to. Hikaru has to decide what his next move is. Knight e2, okay.
I think it's just that tactic you mentioned is maybe his match strategy, provocation. He just wants to say, okay, play g4, please. I'm going to survive the attack, and your king will be weak later. Okay, or maybe just trade off pieces. But long term, white's going to have the better bishop. Black's going to be stuck with a bad piece on b7.
I feel like now this g4 plan is really a problem for black. g4, queen h6.
Yeah, maybe knight f6 stops that for a move or two, but...
It feels so... Then knight g3, and I feel like I've made some progress. But I don't know. It's much easier to move their pieces, right?
Exactly. Like, I agree. Blitz game, it's got to be tempting. Pawn to g4. alternative, maybe more positional, knight to g3, knight f4, but no, it's Alireza. It is g4. G for go, he's going for it.
Yeah, we have similar playing styles. He's just 600 points higher rated. Knight f4 played, and you also have a really annoying positional squeeze. And actually, Magnus is really good at this. He'll take an attacking position, and very quickly you'll just have no positional play anymore, and he'll beat you in an endgame.
Yeah, you could easily imagine somehow it's one of the white knights against the black light squared bishop just stuck behind its own pawn chain. Maybe the white bishop will calmly move, the white knight will kind of sit back and just look at some dart squares. So many holes in the black camp. I mean, I could highlight half a dozen dart squares here.
That's what happens. 7 pawns on light squares. Your dark squares take a little bit of a hit. Not an easy spot for Hikaru. Could go downhill very quickly. White is threatening some sort of g5 maybe you have to calculate, or queen h4, just slowly improve, and knight g5, this type of stuff. That other knight can also maneuver, but be to h3 if you really need the other one to stay on f3. I mean, you can play like 2048 here with your pieces. Just slide them around like this, and Hikaru's in some trouble.
Yeah, he's lacking a plan. That's the problem with black. The only active plan I can see is maybe playing something like queen to e7 and trying to blow open the center. Even that would kind of ask questions whether black is fully ready. At the very best, black will get an isolated pawn in the center. But he needs to speed up. He needs to find a solution. Maybe he wants all the rooks off the board, but white's attack might even continue there.
Yeah, small thing, by the way, as we have just a brief pause. I don't know the extent of this. Okay, we have a rook trade and queen b8 controlling the center, and also maybe bringing the rook, very clutch by Hikaru, controlling the knight e5 jump and rook e8, rook c8. Super nice idea. All I was going to say is maybe some of these motifs and ideas of the Jubava London, Alireza picked up with. He did work with Danya Naroditsky for a little bit for the Grand Swiss. In Uzbekistan today, we've dedicated, obviously, a lot of time, segments, and so on to Danya. May he rest in peace. So maybe they actually played training games in the Jubava. It's one of the most fun openings in Blitz. In long games, you do kind of sit like, why are all my pieces on these squares? But look at this. I mean, you just have a very kind of straightforward attack. Problem is the other guy is not just going to straightforward fall over. He's going to defend.
Exactly. Even our chat there at the bottom of the screen saying the Jubava London, there's huge shades of that opening here. This is the best Jubava he will have ever had. But, okay, how to turn a positional advantage into something more tangible here. Does he push forward his pawn? Does he inch forward with the queen? I quite like this move, Levy.
Yeah, to go knight e5, and yeah.
Exactly, something into e5. Kind of wait for black to trade off the rooks, get the queen deflected, and then jump in. He does inch forward. Nice
look
move.
at that, look at that. Very well timed. Now the knights can't easily move. Rook c8, you can maybe even take it and then put a knight on e5. And that would be a really big problem.
Great move, our audience approved. But 40 seconds for Alireza. The scramble is starting maybe earlier in this game than it has in some of the other ones.
Yeah. The hell are they clapping at? What's going on? Whoa,
Wait.
e5 on the board.
What? Is that a pawn? Knight takes e5, a double question mark. Queen takes f6. This was the idea. This is why Alireza put his queen on h4. g4 is hanging, but there's no way home from that square. The white queen might just slide back, trap that knight, with the help of some of its pawns a few moves later. This is missed. Maybe he just forgot that the white knight defends the bishop. Oh,
Yeah.
He goes in. Is that a doomed piece, Levy?
We just discussed this whole idea, right?
Queen g5.
It's just so shocking. Queen g5 indeed.
Okay, the f-pawn defense. So there is a way back for the black knight, but even that would drop a pawn due to some pins along the g-file.
Knight takes g6 looks unbelievably strong.
It's just about whether now or a bit later.
Or, yeah, bishop f5, of course, just wins a pawn. Easy.
Boom. You can go up a pawn, zero risk attached. Hikaru miscalculating, and white is totally winning according to the evaluation bar. Look at the black queen not contributing. The black bishop just out of it as well.
That's so shocking. What a blunder. And both guys shook their heads. You would have no idea who's winning here. Alireza also shaking his head, by the way.
Oh, king in the corner. Almost some sacrifices.
Yes. Alireza's got 4 seconds to figure things out. He has done some crazy stuff in this match, but David, I don't think so. Queen e5 for white next.
Yeah, you can play this positionally, as you said. Transform that advantage now. Get the queens off, grind that one down. The knight's coming in still. I just don't see black having any counterplay. Hikaru has to play the long game. Just survive, 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 and hope to get an opportunity back in. But as you say, queen e5, clinical.
And the rook comes in, the knight comes in, knight d8. Just a shocking, shocking oversight there. In an otherwise very even game, it seemed like Alireza was pushing, but Hikaru was defending.
And here we go. White's got a beautiful knight cemented now. The pawn in the center as well. Passed pawn, protected passed pawn incoming. F4. But good job by Hikaru trading off those pieces.
David, 1 second for Hikaru. He has to make a move. If Hikaru saves this game, there have to be police waiting for him at the end of the hall for theft. And he doesn't. And that's a fork, and that's Alireza winning.
Ooh, basic fork ends the game. That is heartbreak, but it was already close to hopeless for Hikaru. Great game, Alireza Firouzja.
Yeah, absolutely. I think players are hesitating there. They will have a break. They're clicking through it. Yeah, David, Queen H4, just one move, applying a little bit more pressure. And then, of course, E5 was just ill-advised. It was not the right moment to time it, as Hikaru continues to ruminate there. Tough one, you know, because when you bounce back and you scramble, you kind of feel like you get control back of the match, but so far it's felt like Alireza's the one pressing.
Alireza, he's re-entering the arena. Looks like we're back in business here.
There he is. All right.
Okay, time to go. Hikaru, I think he needs to score heavily with white, like the way he's been struggling with black so far. Maybe something a bit more ambitious, instead of this provocation tactic that he's been going for.
But Alireza will keep hammering with d4 with white, and then with black he will just play symmetrically, and that's basically the Super Grandmaster repertoire. A couple of ideas and a couple of different openings, and just positions that you can play again and again.
What?
Yeah, and for Hikaru, it's just about when maybe he switches to the King's Indian defense, for example, something that Alireza could not rest on his laurels about. Maybe some scotches with white, something to avoid that symmetry, as we see Hikaru get ready to start this next set of games.
30 minutes remaining. I think if he gets out of the 5+1 with just a 1-game deficit, it's great for him. He has a lot less time to question his openings, his decisions in the middle game, and once again he goes back to the Spanish. David, I'm curious if he will change anything.
Yep, so far so good. It's pretty much the same as it was in an earlier game. Hikaru playing it quite slowly. Yes, he's going to take over the B file, but this bishop exchange was just ignored last time. Alireza pushing his pawn forward to defend the bishop. And yeah, what has Hikaru got up his sleeve? Slightly different. He's using this square potentially for his knight instead of for a pawn. But it didn't impress too much last time, Levy. Just led to a long game, and actually it was Hikaru on the back foot.
Yeah, I think we're going to get some changes in the 3+1, because if you're just not getting a position where you can really press for anything, I don't know how you kind of go back to it time and time again. At least I wouldn't. Like, I would just play some other first move, maybe like C4 or D4, but it could be just a situation he's honestly looking to uncork that in the later time controls. Although, I don't know. I'm not his coach. I'm not his second. There's obviously a battle plan here against Alireza Firouzja. But so far, Firouzja has looked great. Knight to H4. How about that move?
Yeah, very ambitious move. He wants to maybe bring his queen out, put a knight, just park it on F5. Shout out to our chat who have been voting. It looks like Alireza backed by 54% of our viewers to win this match. He is up a point.
Yeah, was this like after he won that game or pre? Because that's not impressive.
What did they think? More?
No, I'm just saying, like if they polled the audience before the match started and they said this is different, like anybody can say, oh, 3-2, oh, Alireza's looking really good, you know? Like, how's that pre-match looking? 65-35? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm being told it's live numbers, so okay. I'm surprised as well. I think maybe people just believing in Hikaru's endurance, his experience in this format. But here we go, tension in the center now, D5.
I don't think this match is more than 55-45 either way. So, yeah, D5 is a very nice move, and Hikaru will have to come up with a simple and straightforward calculation that gives him an easy-to-play position. Like, that's really what he has to do. He can't tank here and try to solve things. Does he take on D5? D4 is coming. What does he do?
Yeah, D4 is a really annoying threat, trapping the white bishop. No real way to kind of get that bishop out of trouble other than to trade off, which just simplifies things. The question is whether to take or not. Like, it's always such a difficult decision in the Spanish, in the Italian. I mean, my inclination would be to take and then try to just keep the tension, but I don't know, at some point black just gets space. Black has no weaknesses. I don't think Alireza is too concerned at all. It feels like another opening where Hikaru is just not creating anything, and taking will just lead to further simplifications.
But if not taking on B6, trading the dark squared bishop, I'm not really sure what you can do, and that's what he does. And now is the big decision of, like, does he put his rook on e1 or d1 or some weird knight f5, queen g3 combination? It does feel like he needs to stabilize his center first.
There is the threat. Pawn takes pawn, and there will be some tension along the d-file, especially between the bishops as well. So either the white rook will have to defend the knight, maybe, or there's a trade in the center, or as you were saying there, Levy, maybe the queen out the way. Lots of choice for Hikaru, but nothing stands out, nothing too attractive. And ooh,
Queen g3 would have, I guess, lost to knight h5, which would have been.
Whoops.
No. I actually said the same. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy to make an improving move. He literally has a tangible problem that he had to solve, because pawn takes pawn in the center would have opened up the queen to attack the knight.
At least this knight defended now, and actually he's using the correct rook. I was highlighting the other one, but of course the white rook should stay on the open file just in case it gets access later. Very tense, very slow moment of this game right now.
And black can, at like any point, start with the b pawn as well, right? b4, not right now, you don't have to. Knight e7, and maybe he's going to go for c5.
Great move. Just backing up the center, quite a typical maneuver. He's also clearing the 6th rank. I don't know if that's going to be relevant, but at some point the black rook might even be able to slide somewhere. But as you say, c5 is the immediate short-term intention. Connect 4, all the pawns in the center.
Yeah, it's connect 8 on move 1. That's c5 looks dreadful for white. I don't know how you deal with that. And we blow kisses back to the audience. Yeah, c5 is really tough, and it's stopped with that move, but now d4.
d4 is very, very tempting. Black will create an outside or a queenside pawn majority there. Or does he commit? I don't know. The way Alireza has been playing, it feels like controlled aggression. So I'm not sure whether d4 yet he'll go for.
g5?
Oh, oh, there we
Wow,
go.
there it is.
Great call, Levy.
There it is. Every time it's possible. And actually now, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, especially because white's just not organized at all for any kingside attack. Black's knights are perfectly placed. Black controls the center. You can get away with moves like g5, and it's always got to be in Hikaru's mind. g4 in the air, knight f4 in the air. Oh, it's turning in black's favor again.
In these types of symmetrical king's pawn games, capitalizing on these same side attacks and when to launch your pawns, when to plant your knight on f4 or f5, really can take a player from like 2,000 to like 2,400 just purely on this if you're an e4, e5 player. But they are so tough to maneuver.
Exactly. You need a mixture of patience. You need a mixture of that tactical vision. Given a question mark this last move, queen to e7 for black, can Hikaru strike in the center before it's too late? He has to do something. He's so passive for white right now. He needs to fight against black's space advantage, and there we go. Great move from Hikaru Nakamura.
This happens a lot. There's this cube in the center of e4, d4, and e5, d5. It's seen in many Italian games, and it's always fun to see, like, where do you crash through? Who's going to take who? DE. Now you take back the other pawn. And total pandemonium here. It looks like black might just lose a pawn.
Yeah, suddenly the pawn on g5 sticks out a bit. Black has lost coordination. Imagine blinking for one moment. Queen e7, a natural move, improvement move, and it's all turned around. Great spot, Hikaru. This is a chance, suddenly, out of the blue, out of nowhere. What to do? Like you said, it's missing a pawn maybe on e4. Bishop to f5 might be the only way.
Yeah, bishop f5, because just like you said, you need your rook. Your rook's on b6 for a purpose, and the purpose is getting into the e6 square, fighting back on the e-file when necessary, and he's played it. Can white go like g4?
Ooh,
Or
tempting.
okay, well, that's out the window.
I quite liked it. Pawn to g4, we'll never know. It wouldn't have changed the evaluation too much. Instead, he goes more positional. Hikaru, he trades off the knights. This last move improves the white bishop, stops the black knight coming into the center, more importantly. And the black pawn on e4 still kind of gets in the way. Still just blocks all of black's activity with the pieces what to do next. No obvious moves for Alireza as the clock ticks down. 1.5 minutes now and counting. Still looking very much in the balance, though, this game.
Yeah, this is quite a stressful position. And if black can actually get the f-pawn moving, that would be really wonderful. First, he puts the next knight on f4. Maybe the king is coming out of the way next.
Yeah, the knight's coming into d3, potentially. Or maybe could have stopped that knight coming in. Pawn to g3 was an option. Reluctant to commit any pawns in front of his king, Hikaru. It's a bit of a standoff. Neither side can lay a hand on the opponent here. There's no exchanges, no tactics. How to improve the pieces. It's the maneuvering phase. On f3, he does try to speed up the game now. Oh, and he sacrifices the exchange levy.
Wow, a rook sacrifice for Hikaru. And the pawns are connected. This is looking really nice. It's your favorite again.
Exactly. I talk about it way too much, but this is the most beautiful of pawn structures. And the black king may be a bit open. The white knight would love to leap forward into some squares later. Not easy for the black rooks to find the open lines they need.
Can you, like, why can't you play something like a f6 or an f5?
I think he needs to. It might be too late if he waits 1 or 2 more moves. Knight e4 would force a bishop for knight exchange. Suddenly light squares, weak around black's king. Might be now or never for Alireza to break that connect 4 structure.
Is there a difference between f6 and f5? f6 actually threatens the pawn?
Yeah, I don't know if f5 is a bad move, but b4, he goes the other way. He tries to break this structure from a different angle.
Hikaru now has a commanding lead on time.
Oof. Yeah, he feels it as well. He's up the pace. That exchange sacrifice he played super speedily. And he's trying to push those pawns even further.
c5 maybe?
Yeah, open that bishop again.
Just feels correct. And that way you can also push your e-pawn forward.
c5 threatens d5, threatens everything. Very natural move. Hikaru waiting. Maybe.
But now he has to confidently play fast. It's not just like maneuvering. He actually has to seize the moment or he's going to get into time trouble. He plays d5. That wasn't the best, I think.
No, not the best according to the computer, but c5's still in the air. He's still trying to connect those pawns and promote one of them long term. I like this, though. This is a queen in the center that's going to stare down at the black king.
This is miserable, David. Right, rook a5 is so smart to go queen c5.
Yeah, given a question mark, though.
Ah, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Good human move. He wants to alleviate the pressure, get the queens off.
Does white play like, oh, he's going to block the trade? Very nice.
It's just the control Hikaru's got, and Alireza's at 14 seconds.
Knight d4, yep. What does he do here?
Slides the king.
Yeah.
What else? White's got so many improvement moves. Rook f1, at some point later, h4 ideas.
Yeah, rook f1's very nice. Queen f2, okay.
Does he want to bring his queen to f6?
But how does white make a move here? Like,
Yeah, not easy. Black is putting some pressure.
I think you have to maybe go for some, oh, wow, he gives away the c4 pawn. But I think he's blundered it maybe.
Did he forget Hikaru? He still has an advantage according to the evaluation bar, but now the path is narrow. I think he forgot.
Yeah, he's freaking out a bit, unless, again, we never know. But here it's not a face-to-face situation, and Alireza doesn't get to see his reactions.
And now Hikaru's under 15 seconds, has to speed up. He brings his queen in. Now, no good way to save the black rook. Oh, can you defend the rook? It's not clear. The white knight is coming.
Is he threatening e6 there, or knight f5?
The knight is coming, and he's blundered checkmate in 1. Queen
Checkmate
g7.
in 1! It's mate in 1! Queen g7 is mate!
Has he not seen it? He does deliver mate Hikaru. He strikes back, scores a level.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Both guys. I think both guys are trading, David, back and forth. The previous game there was a blunder, and now there was an even bigger one.
Yeah, that was the best game Hikaru's played so far.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt in this match. He's back, and Alireza looked like he was just shocked by the power of Hikaru's play, the energy there that suddenly just emerged. Incredible.
Okay, so all that opening preparation just to play the exact same thing that we were planning. C5, yeah, as you said, is definitely what the computers prefer nowadays. And does black play b5, or does he just, okay. Knight h5, yeah, this is the modern idea. Yeah, you just target the bishop.
He gets ready to strike in the center, something similar to what we saw in an earlier game, but Eval Bar points out, the blue arrow points out that e4, strong move. White gets there to the punch first, and he goes for it. Oh, that black knight maybe now not feeling so comfortable, stared at indirectly.
Now you probably have to trade and bring it back, or that, and you're sort of playing like a weird Karo Khan type of structure, where you just try to play on the light squares. Actually, knight takes f6 I wasn't a huge fan of. Doesn't this just make black's life much easier?
Yeah, maybe dodging that exchange somehow would have at least asked some more questions he wanted to develop with gain of time. Watch out, there might be some tactics if the black bishop ever comes to g4. Maybe not quite there, but okay, the bishop's out the side the pawn chain. White has the space, white has the squares, but long term, black is still very, very solid.
And knight e5, there's positions where black will play e6 and bishop takes c5. So you have to be quite careful with white. There are some tactics. White will get a very aesthetic position with a knight in the center and some attacking chances. But in the long run, the pawn on d4 could become a liability.
Yeah, the more pieces that get traded off, the weaker that will become. Backward pawn, a nice outpost for black in front of it as well. Definitely not a one-sided game. This is going to be very nuanced positionally. As Alireza decides, oh, I could just see him playing 95, like G4, H4, start throwing stuff forward. But no, he decides to play a more measured approach here, just improving his pieces.
This really does feel like, to some degree, some sort of strange Caro-Kann or Scandinavian, more like it feels like. And oh boy, oh, that was a big miss. And bishop a5 is not just a win of material; it's a huge positional mistake.
Oh dear, Hikaru, he's going to be forced to admit a loss of at least 1 or 2 tempi here. The black queen is going to have to move, the rook is going to have to move. No pleasant squares for those pieces either. That is a bit of a shocker. He should have just got castled. Bring his bishop out, get the king to safety. Big mistake, Hikaru.
People are watching this who are rated 3,000 points lower. Principles, you know your principles. You got to get your bishop, you got to castle. You moved your rook before you moved your other pieces, and now there are real serious problems here. After winning such a game, this must be so frustrating because you're like, what am I doing? It's not over, David, but it's like, it's really unpleasant.
You've mentioned tennis. It's like having the serve, like white, black. Hikaru, at the moment, he just can't survive the opening with black. It feels like he's on the back foot right from the off. He will need to change up his repertoire, his black openings at some point. Maybe in the 3+1, he's waiting for that. But this is ugly now. He's going to have to maybe even put his rook back in the corner at some point and slide his queen back. Horrible.
Now, Alireza will still have to win, but like he's getting a bunch of free moves. He's improving his position to a maximum. It's, yeah, this is really just dreadful for Hikaru. And Hikaru fans, if you're rooting for Alireza, you're having a party.
Mm-hmm. Hikaru can't really use this square for his rook. In the near future, it will get hit by the white knight. That will be very unpleasant. You have to choose one of these 3 squares, or very, very sad, stuck behind pawns. Maybe he'll even give up material and just say, okay, at least my pawn structure is solid. But that was surely a last resort. He drops his queen back. He is going to put his rook on a very clumsy square in the center. Bishop a5, the most natural move, also the best one now.
Is he sacrificing? Like, is he going to go 95 and just give up the rook?
Yes, there we go. Interesting that he gives up the rook for the knight, because the structure in the center blocked. He's arguing that knights are the best piece, and he's going to have still some control. But, okay, objectively now, white should be winning. Just needs that breakthrough a bit later.
Yeah, this is a position that you will win with white. You just have to retreat the bishop, and then at some point you will use the pawns, you will break apart the central defense, and you will likely just win. It's also a position that will burn a ton of time off the clock, and probably the next game very well could be the last. Who wants more 5+1 chess?
Oh, good question. I think in general Alireza, but Hikaru would get white in the final game of that portion. I don't know, I think he might want to...
No, it would be Ferrugia. Because the next game will be Hikaru with white, so it will be Alireza with white.
Yeah,
so probably Alireza wants, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hikaru wouldn't mind getting white, though, in the final game if he gets one more now, and then that's it.
Yes, for sure. I was just saying, like, if Alireza wins this game in the next 3 minutes, that would be really good, because he very well could get another game with white, but okay.
And then, yeah, slow game there from Hikaru. Bishop trade, he's forcing a pawn into the center. Okay, I was going to say, stylistically, you probably want some imbalance with the bishops, otherwise white rooks get open lines. What do you make of this? Maybe now easier to imagine white breaking through later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know there if you should take with the e-pawn or the c-pawn. This does feel like you give white a queenside majority, which it's very rare to just have a rook for a bishop down in an otherwise totally normal position. I'm just going to go with the rooks are probably going to win no matter what you do.
Yeah, as Caro-Kann players, though, like, we're quite used to this structure. If material was level, we'd love it with black.
Yeah, if we had a rook and the other guy didn't have one of his bishops, but you know, but I don't really know. I think Alireza is a little bit stunned as well. He doesn't quite get himself into positions that look like this. So yeah, he's just playing it very slowly.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. No back rank mates now. Pawn controls some squares the bishop might have otherwise wanted to use. I think psychologically, Hikaru just has to pretend he's not the exchange down. Just say, okay, I'm going to put my piece on squares, make it as difficult as possible for white ever to play the move c6 maybe later. Just try and scare the opponent by putting the bishop in the center. I don't think that's going to ever precede any attack. What to do next?
Yeah, I think also with white, you would like the trade of queens. You're never really going to be checkmating somebody. So queen b6, queen c7, queen g3, queen d6, something like that. Queen g3, b4, queen d6. But the more that I look at it, the more annoying it is. I don't really, like, you don't know what to do. There's no clear plan.
Yeah, I think the one question is time. Like, does he have all the time in the world here to slowly play like a4, queen a3, b4, queen back to b3, push all the pawns? Or is black actually generating something a bit later? a3 is very mysterious.
The hell is a3?
Did he not know it can go 2 squares forward?
Yeah, he didn't receive the patch notes. He's only 3274, but doesn't know all the rules. What is a3? Queen a2 and then a4? Like, what are...
I mean,
just
slowest plan in the world. And, okay, I don't really understand Hikaru's move either. Maybe e5, but I don't think black should be rushing to open up lines for the white rooks. Queen g3, now that's a logical one. I think I know the idea behind a3. He wanted to stop queen a4.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
But, yeah, mysterious. But sometimes those moves are the best.
Especially on the heels of having explained that you want to push the pawns further. Okay, queen g3, you're not really looking for checkmate. You are looking for an infiltration and a stability of the pawns on the left side of the board. Also, you can play like rook e3, rook b3. Not right away. You would hang a fork. That's not going to happen. But just in general.
Mm-hmm. This is a nice move as well, just to force Alireza to contemplate. To force Hikaru to contemplate, oh, do I want to dodge that queen trade? Are there any worlds where I can get away with it? And wow, e5, that is desperation. He will force Alireza to answer some questions, but bishop c3, a great move.
Oh man, David, that's like a huge reversal. That's just like, it's like a judo flip. e5, and now black can't get out of it. You can't take the pawn back.
Yeah, if white was forced to take, then suddenly the black bishops come to life, but nope, there's going to be an exchange, maybe even of dark squared bishops. That's terrible news for Hikaru. He's now trying to scare Alireza with some potential checkmate threats on g2, but Alireza's blundered mate in one game. He's not going to do it a second time in a row.
Hikaru also was battling the earpiece there, and he still might be, actually.
Hello, Hikaru. Can you hear us?
No. That would be bad. If he gave us a thumbs up, that would be bad.
Okay, indirect threats. G2 slightly tender, but that can be easily fended off, surely. With f3 now, looks very, very logical. Maybe it's just simple and strong. The black bishop in the center on e4, the only kind of hope for black now. The pride and joy of the position can just be removed. Kick it away.
Once the position opened up for the side that has more dominant material, suddenly the eval bar has shot through the roof. Before that, it was a little bit more closed, but all right, we're still approaching scramble territory.
Yeah, and Alireza is still shaking his head. He plays f3. Is he going to grab the pawn in the center now? I think Hikaru's only plan there is to bring his bishop forward and to try and infiltrate. There we go. Queen is coming in. Is that a real threat, or is that just something to be ignored?
Yeah, but how do you actually stop this?
Maybe you can just run with your king. I'm not sure. He tries to trade off the bishops. Also logical.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now the bishop has had to move, blocking the square the queen wanted to use. White's rook will be forced away to a slightly clumsy square.
It does feel like still there are so many tactics like bishop h3 and open lines to white's king, but it doesn't ever quite work.
Mm-hmm. White's piece is not loose enough yet. Everything's protected. I think black would love to kick this white rook away. If you can get the black rook into the action as well, then the tactics. So f6 played. 13 seconds. It's the scramble again.
Yes, and his next move will definitely be something like king to h7 behind the queen and the bishop, so to be out of the way of everything. Yeah, it's a scramble territory once again.
f4 does allow the black bishop back in. We see a pin of the black f-pawn. He's surviving well. He's a great defender, Hikaru. The chat's been pointing that out. He's held worse positions than this. And the bar's saying that maybe some chances.
Was there bishop b5?
There was bishop to b5, and it's there again.
And it's there again!
Skewer. Both players missing it. Mutual blindness right now and not spotted. Still in there.
It's still there!
Oh, he would still be 2 pawns down, Hikaru, but at least some hope of saving it. Now with the queens off, surely hopeless.
Now the light square blockade is the last hope, but just too many pawns.
Too many pawns. The rooks will finally get some time to breathe. The king is coming out of the mating net. Alireza doing everything right, but 3 seconds.
Something tells me Firouzja will not lose on time either.
Oh, Hikaru could have taken the f4 pawn, decided not to, and oh, he's getting g2. No, there was pawn to g6 check.
Oh, goodness.
Tactics keeping everything alive for Alireza.
Pawn was falling there, but you couldn't quite take it.
Oh, those bishops are tricky, and he's given back the exchange.
Oh my god, what happened?
Wow, and counterplay. G2's falling, the H-pawn is running. What's happening here? 3 results possible.
King G6 maybe.
The pawn was, yeah, he could have picked it up.
Oh, he's stopping the pawn.
The black bishop is struggling to survive here, stay alive and stop the pawn.
And he just gets out, David. King G6 and bishop G4 is escaping.
The H-pawn. Hikaru's maybe got the easier position to play if that bishop's able to give itself up for the C-pawn. This should be a draw now, but 1 second for Alireza.
Oh, and he's queening! He's
It's a
queening!
queen!
Hikaru's winning! No, he's not! No, he's not! Rook C3!
Oh, everything's defended, and Alireza wins on time!
He wins on time! Wow. My heart is racing, David. What a win!
That was madness, and that is so important for the standings. That could have been a 2-point lead for Alireza. It's back to equality. Hikaru was a bit fortunate at the end. Dead lost all game. How did he pull that off, Levy? How?
I have nothing to say, and he's like meditating, dude. I've never seen that. He's straight up breathing and catching his breath. They took like 10 minutes off the game clock with that game, if not more. I don't know. That was unfathomable how he saved that game.
Best defender in the world. He's earned that reputation over many years. He's just surviving long enough to get that chance was incredible. Just to mention, there was a threat of checkmate. The white queen was not hanging a few moves ago. And now there's a very famous trap. The knight taking the pawn would have backfired, as white's pieces would have been a bit too loose. This is still a very well-known theory. Hikaru Khan, nice to see it.
Yeah, this line has been played a ton recently. And I tried to study it with the black pieces and then just decided I was not going to do that. The 2 knights Hikaru Khan is quite a weapon. In fact, I feel like you've played it with white.
I've played it with white, and every time I play the Hikaru Khan with black in classical chess, everyone plays the 2 knights against me.
Yeah, there's no way to like fully equalize with black anymore. That's what it feels like. It's just always under some pressure.
Yeah, and it's very safe. Like risk-averse players will always choose that. Either you get the bishop pair early, or you get a position like this where you have a nice bind in the center. But long-term, black is still in decent shape. At some point, the bishop will fianchetto c5 at the right moment, and pieces come to life. Alireza tends to be playing the Hikaru Khan when he wants to win, when he wants to kind of get that double-edged fight.
It's interesting he didn't go e4, e5.
Yeah.
Just out of inertia.
I think emotion now. I think both players are feeling it, that neither of them have been perfect.
What? He just hung a... Ooh. What? Queen f3 ideas in the air, as well as like just a pure kingside attack.
Queen f3, that would hit the rook, that would hit the pawn, that might land on f6. Levy, I think there's tactics against the black king. I've played very similar positions as black, and I always tend to find myself hit by some queen checks, maybe some rook lifts later. Taking that knight's got to be so tempting.
Ah, yeah, because you take and you play queen g4, and then you make the king go to the corner, and then you... Okay.
And queen f3?
Yes, and then, yes. That's a double question mark. Was that just winning for white?
Levy, I'm going to bring it back. This game is going to continue. The pawn is captured. It becomes much more normal now. Let's just show what Hikaru Nakamura missed in that move. Maybe with another minute, I think he would have found it. Bishop takes knight. Queen check is very strong, but apparently he can win on the spot, which is wild. He can play queen to h5. This is not me. This is the computer. And if the knight is now captured, white gives a sneaky check. Another check, forces the king onto an open line, and then rook lift. GG, game over. That is crazy. It actually continues, and now you just slow play it. You take the pawn, and at the right moment, you give a check.
And black can't go back to e7 because the king can't escape anymore.
But this would have been glorious. This would have been a perfect way to end the portion, but tough to see.
This would have been like a dagger in the heart of Firouzja because this would have been vicious for him. Although he would have just resigned. If this was the last game of the segment, you lose 2 games like this, it can be very crushing. But the game will go on, and is black better? What is going on?
Yeah, he's just offered a queen trade instead, Hikaru, and after the drop of the queen, yeah, he's trapped his own damsel here, the queen lacking squares. Hikaru loves getting the queens off against the younger generation, especially the likes of Alireza, but that is a bit, I don't know, compliant, just asking black to improve the position.
Now is he calculating bishop f6 like knight c4, some idea? Or why can't he just play queen e2? Just very simple.
I think he might have to, but the queen did just come from there, so it would be an admission of a loss of tempo. Yeah, the other move to calculate is bishop takes knight, but then, yeah, it's not the same without any direct attack on the black king. Here we go.
I do wonder here if you feel so relieved winning the previous game, you almost free roll this one. You just feel like, I'm up 1, I can sort of take my liberties here, but no, not against Firouzja.
Yeah. Oh, bishop to a6 he was thinking about. But nope, a capture.
That would have been nice.
And what will we see now? The knight dropping back to this square. Provocative, asking the black pawns to advance. The knight dropping back to f3.
I don't understand why after knight f3 the position is so good for black. Like knight f3, queen h5, it just feels like maybe there's something, but likely there is 0. Actually, maybe black can just play king h8, rook g8, and actually you're going to get checkmated in the long run.
Yeah. Bishop on b7, rook on g8, as you say. That looks a bit scary. Still needs some time to set it up, though. Hikaru, yeah, just imagine being in the lead after being in such horrible positions so many times with the black pieces. If you can strike now, that could be just, yeah, I think psychologically impossible to recover from. But 1 minute against 4.
I still don't quite get it. Like, just go back to f3. Okay, we go back to g4, fine. But he almost might be spending all this time to make sure this is the last game.
That would make sense, but maybe later in the game when it's an ending, a rook endgame, play on and on and on forever. But this early in the game, to be down 3 minutes.
Maybe he doesn't want to play with black again.
True, true. Who would? Those positions.
It's been a disaster. Like, it's actually been... Granted, he is playing the a6 Slav. Like, Alireza is just sort of playing straightforward chess. But still, it's been really tough.
f5 looks so logical. Why not play that? It also threatens to trap the queen. Like, the white queen has only got 1 square to escape to right now on h5 or over that direction. Otherwise, bishop to a6 would be a game ender. So f5... I guess the knight isn't hit. I was going to say, if the knight moves now, if it retreats, for example, bishop a6 is game over. How to save everything.
And to be clear, it's not hanging because of queen g5 and queen f6. That would be a perpetual check. It's there. Would be, if the bishop was on the other diagonal, you could even be winning in some lines, but the white bishop is not on the better diagonal. And now Firouzja has to seize them.
Oh, Levy.
Oh.
Tactics, that is beautiful. Queen takes queen would be met by a knight check, a knight fork, a royal one, and the queen would be regained.
And then you'd win.
Let's show it, let's show it. This is not happening, ladies and gentlemen, but queen takes queen would be a huge blunder as this final position. A rook would be hit, a bishop would be attacked, and white would win material. That is beautiful geometry from Hikaru, and maybe missed by Alireza. He hasn't responded. He needs to find rook to d8 now.
That sucks. Like, you think you've done everything right, and he does find rook d8. He's good enough at stabilizing his emotions and finding the best move, but it must suck to get hit with a move like queen d7.
I was looking at it, I was like, wait, I was just talking about the white queen being trapped for ages. What's wrong with this? But look at this, yeah, he's still in the game. Eval bar still on black side because of the bishop pair long term, now with queens off the board. But he's causing some confusion.
This knight is a cat with 9 lives. Just jumping around into squares that should never go. Now it hits the bishop. The bishop has to go all the way back to c8 or else you straight up just lose it. And then the knight will come back to d3.
Solid again for Hikaru. I think most people would still take black there just because of the bishop pair. Most grandmasters, especially the clock times, but...
What's Firouzja thinking about?
Rook trade first.
Bishop e2?
Bishop, ooh, back ranker.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a better diagonal. Just hide somewhere over here, take the d-file.
He's like, hey, you hit me with a sacrifice right in front of my face. I can do the same.
Oh, that is cunning. No rook trade first. First bishop e2. That is nice, Levy.
That was just like, well, he started thinking, and I'm like, am I missing something? Yeah, clearly, bishop e2.
That is super smart. And white doesn't seem to have any tactics there to take advantage. Okay, fighting back Hikaru. Although Alireza has this nice move now. Bishop e2. Will he find it? There's nothing wrong with bishop c8. I think that's fine too, but just the psychological effect. Active bishop.
Yeah, I was just going to say, at this point, it's not even about finding. It's just about decision-making. Like, one feels really flashy, but potentially stupid, and the other one feels passive and potentially stupid. And that's chess. Which one is less stupid?
Yeah, I think stupid would be burning all your time on this one decision.
Indeed. Indeed it would. But this will be the last game. The timer has expired. So the boys can entertain us, and just like we all planned, we had 2.5 hours of a 1.5 hour format.
Yeah, still plenty ahead. Bishop c8 is the decision, and yeah, this was the downside. I realized the white bishop suddenly more active on a nice outpost. The white knight will drop back now, probably to the b3 square, just to keep the black bishop tied down to a pawn here.
That is nice. And then a5 is just a problem long term.
Yeah, and I just like the queenside setup there. The white bishop on b5, the knight back sitting on a nice square. Still black has the kingside majority, so we'll start advancing at some point. But stability, that is the first step for Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah, maybe bishop d7 or something along those lines, like almost a force. Okay, he does this.
Bishop d7, maybe those rook takes d7.
Yeah,
Bishop
but
e5.
I was thinking like you just go for the endgame. Maybe it's just bad, but yeah, this I don't like for white. I don't know why black is just better according to Stockfish, but
Yeah, there's a backward pawn. This c pawn.
yeah.
The black bishops, I'm very biased towards the bishop pair in general, but suddenly they look so stable.
Honestly, I'm like a sports fan wearing two sports jerseys over the other. Like every other move, I'm like, oh, white's position's nice, black's position's pretty good. Yeah, I like rook c8, rook c2. Rook e2, Hikaru will have to play and just sort of buckle down in the long run and defend. Oh, what a move! That is ugly.
Oh, backward pawn's going to keep the white pieces passive for a while. At some point, there we go. Harry the h-pawn entering the fray. h4, h3, destabilize the white pieces. And okay, there's one nice piece now for white, the knight. But look at those dark squares, Levy. That is, oh, that's so weak.
Hikaru's building a little fortress of light square pawns. He's just like, you can't break through. Alireza's going to have to figure out a way to sacrifice something or break through the pawn here, David.
Exactly. I could even imagine a king march later, a glorious king march in.
Oh, that might be it.
Maybe.
That really could be it. Like something has to tip over.
It feels like even with all the rooks off now, maybe black's winning because of an entry point for his king. So perhaps that is one possible plan for Alireza. If he can't find a breakthrough, get the rooks off and try to infiltrate later. But he's keeping... Oh, he's blundered a5, has he? Oh, he saves the bishop.
Take it. Maybe you can take it. I think maybe there's some positions you can beat down the exchange, but totally fine.
Take the bishop, you mean there?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he should. Will we see a repetition?
No repetition.
The game goes on. And the king's coming.
Oh my God, this is scary for black.
This is the best position.
Yeah, but okay. Now it's probably just equal.
Opposite color bishops. I think maybe black still for choice. Watch out, rook e5. Mating net closing around the white king.
Well, that came out of nowhere.
But blocked.
Just bring it all back, Hikaru style. Bishop c4, bishop e2 for the rest of the game. King g5, there's the king walk.
Let's go. Alireza is the one playing on, but the clock is going to play a huge role. No way through, blockade.
Did he lose on time? Oh.
Draw by repetition, just in the nick of time, and Hikaru takes his lead into the 3+1 segment. And it looks like we're off. The 3+1 segment has begun, and Hikaru switching it up.
Queen's Gambit accepted with an e4 move on the third move. That's very, very normal. But then c5 striking back and building up this pawn mass. This is some sort of cutting-edge stuff, David. This has to be some engine preparation because it looks horrendous for black, but it just manages to work out.
It's fascinating. Hikaru must have prepared this before today. He would never play this at the candidates, that is for sure. He's got the reputation of a dubious line. But interestingly, when he was looking at the game review for an earlier defeat, he was looking at this. He was clicking through it. Queen to a5 check now the way to take advantage of white's last move. I'm just checking the database. Apparently bringing the bishop out to f4 instead of taking that pawn was the way that most grandmasters handle this. And Hikaru also going the wrong way, allowing white to just take back on c4, establish material equality, and lead in development.
Yeah, queen a5 was immediately punishing because it sent the knight back to c3. Now if you play queen a5, I wonder if there's a difference. You can just play king f1, first of all. And then the queen is misplaced, everything is misplaced, whereas if you had just started immediately with this, none of this would have happened. Having said that, David, I feel like none of that really matters because we're going to get into a below 2 minute and then below 1 minute time situation very quickly.
Exactly, and no drastic mistakes. Yes, we saw some question marks, but that's because they weren't the most hyper-accurate moves. Instead, we see a normal type of position emerge. Yes, both sides have isolated pawns, but black has a has a nice knight. Noting here that knight takes bishop would have been met by a queen check on a4, winning back the piece immediately, and the black knight is probably the glue for the position here, holding everything together, so you don't want to trade that off.
Alireza is building up brilliant moves, by the way. That's probably going to get another one. The previous one did. There it is. Look
flashy.
at this is this is what we call brilliant inflation. Two brilliance, but that's not true. I like Hikaru's blockade on d6. I think this is actually an easier position to play for black in some ways.
Yeah, somehow the white position is almost a bit blunted behind this pawn. Black just defends now. The knight will come out, maybe even coming to the center. Rook on the semi-open b file. Pawns have been sacrificed for less. And here he's doing it all from a level standpoint, materially.
Almost feels like a good Benoni somehow.
Yeah.
Like it has
good
some
Benko.
rumblings. Yeah, good Benko. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Black is better.
Yeah, this last move. It does give up a pawn. Bishop takes b2 is one question. And
Hey, shout out, sacrifice the rook shirt. We love that. We love that. I hope nobody does it right now. It would be disaster, but at some point for sure.
yeah, everyone's walking around in the hoodies as well, the Speed Chess Championship hoodies today. It's been a nice sight. And okay, Hikaru didn't play bishop takes b2, which may have been the way to try and refute White's idea, but instead plays a very natural move, tries to nudge back the white bishop.
Yeah, bishop b2 feels a bit psychotic. In any low time format, you feel like the other person is going to get an attack going on your king, and it's not going to be so easy.
Especially against Alireza, surely. It's not Hikaru's style to provoke a big attack or to provoke dynamism. If anything, he wants to provoke a small positional kind of territory battle there, instead dropping back his bishop.
But this is a very annoying move. Very annoying. Because now what do you do? Shout out to the audience. Shout out Vlad.
Might have to trade
How do I
knights.
know someone's name in the audience? Isn't that crazy? Look how far technology has come. No, I'm just kidding. Those are actually the guys that told me about those stats. And he does take on b2.
Now there's a tactic. Rook to b1 saves the rook, but there would be a skewer with bishop to f5. And the two white rooks would be lined up on the light squares. Black would win material. Okay, he's sacrificing, I was going to say. Alireza is not going to back down.
He's doing the thing. Well, it's not really forced, yeah? He doesn't have to take. He can just go back to g7. But why would he do that?
He flicks in exchange. White had to take back with the pawn. Doubled f-pawn's ugly, but the white queen needed to defend the rook on a1. And now dark squared bishops to take or not to take. Long-term black's doing very well, but short-term white's pieces are still active.
I feel like he could have went to d4 as well, but then the sacrifice would have been really juicy. This feels like a very easy position to play, especially in bullet for black. You have much better structure, you have a knight for bishop, you put the knight somewhere in the center, and then the other guy hangs a fork and you win.
Yep. We'll see if that unfolds. And Hikaru's typing.
He's changing songs, maybe.
Yep, looks that way. Confident enough about his position with just over 1 minute against 40 seconds. Maybe time mismanagement again from Alireza.
You know what's been stuck in my mind since I went to that Arsenal-Chelsea match? London Calling by The Clash. I mean, goodness, what a song. Music used to be better. It just used to be better. Now, I think Hikaru has seen some better positions in this match, although the theme of him being pressured a lot with black is still there. It really is.
At least here he's being pressured where he has something to hold on to, like long-term, better pawn structure, and maybe knight against bishop, he'll have some chances. But yeah, attack-wise, that was a great move. He needed to stop the rook sliding, the queen coming in.
But he could have just went there to begin with, right?
That's true.
He lost the tempo, and that's not good. His position's okay, but he did lose the tempo. 20 seconds for Firouzja with nothing decided in the position. No structure. He just has to pick a plan and go for it.
Yeah, and that's the type of move you just you play out of pure panic. King g2, okay, it improves things, nice square, cover all the pawns, but he clearly can't find a plan, and he knows the clock is ticking, 16 seconds and counting. d5 now about to fall. Hikaru's turning things in his favor.
Yeah, black will play e6,
Cemento.
and then that's it.
No way through the black defenses there. Shake of the head from Alireza.
Yeah, just e6. No, but I mean, okay, just e6. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not going to do my Leko impression just yet. Rook c8, and the position is looking nice for black.
Yeah, there is one pawn hanging, but who cares? It's all about the other side of the board. Great trade there. Now all the dark squares are weak in white's camp.
And rook c3 is coming in, and knight e3 and knight f4 are coming in.
Oh, it looks scary. The white rooks are active, but they're loose. The white king is under fire. Rook c3 looks super strong.
Rook c2? Rook c2 just, how do you even...
White would have to go back, rook
Yeah.
e2, but clinging on by his fingernails, 3 seconds.
There's some f5?
Knight check. It's just a pin.
Yes, it is. That's it.
And he wins the queen. Queen for bishop and rook, but more importantly, he keeps a passed pawn here, black. This pawn is going to win him the game long term.
Yeah, he's going to check, and this is easy peasy. You might not even have to trade the rooks, but... Oh!
Into the corner, not quite checkmate, but game over. Hikaru wins.
That was a great game.
Feels like he's getting in the flow. He's on a bit of a rampage now with these wins. And yeah, it's just feeling like Hikaru's found his rhythm after a slower start. Back to the Catalan.
And the crazy thing is, like I said, Alireza could have had a 4-1 lead. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, yes, of course. I get it. But Hikaru saved just a few unbelievable positions. And there's knight a5, by the way.
Someone's been doing their homework in the break. Hikaru has been checking with game review, maybe phone call to his seconds, and look at that white knight, beautifully placed. Can always step back into e5 if need be. There we go. He's yeah, maybe got a small advantage here, although black is still very solid, of course.
At least this is a no-lose game that takes about 6-7 minutes off the clock, and then we're in good shape. Alireza at some point will start feeling the desperation for sure. It felt like for the first 7 games, he was certainly the one calling the shots, and since then, it's really been all Hikaru. That last one certainly punched kind of that deciding ticket in the fact that this 2-point lead is very well deserved.
Definitely. 3-2 lead, suddenly it's all gone wrong for Alireza. He just needs to survive this game. I think that would be a success. This fork is not the most scary. The rook can move, of course. But can Alireza contemplate potentially even taking this pawn in the center? I saw the bar slightly slide in black's favor. The only possible reason is that this pawn is hanging. And when this rook in the corner falls, there's tension. There we go, he grabs it. And we'll see some trades.
This is just looking like a draw. This might not go 7 minutes.
That being said, I do slightly prefer black's chances with the outside pawns.
You go knight c7?
Oh, knight c7, though, that is good. That is a way to remove all risk.
Yeah, other than knight c7, I'm not sure what you can play with white. Maybe you just play knight c7 or bishop d2 and try to trade somehow.
Yeah, it feels like your prediction is going to be right. I think a draw on Hikaru. I think this is where he pauses and doesn't mind a couple of minutes coming off the match clock. Not too much at risk. Knight to f4 would be a slightly worse version, as the black knight would be able to take and capture some things in its path. So knight to c7 would get the bishop pair, and not too much to say, I think. Minimal material left.
And Hikaru's not rushing. That's what he's doing. Of course, he sees knight c7, but maybe the ceiling looks much more appealing. And of course, he is up in the match. The less time that is on the clock, the better it is for him. This is 100% his prerogative and ability to do so. Or he is just really just contemplating what to eat after the match.
Yeah, either way, it feels like his last black game, yes, there was a bit of bluff involved, yes, some oversights from both sides, but it felt like he solved his opening problems a bit more. At least it was a different type of opening. It wasn't just quite one-sided, static advantage. Here we see the tactics. Knight c7 was met by a different way forward, and okay, the black knight is offside. This was what he was thinking about.
No.
Fascinating.
I didn't even consider the fact that you could go for this. I just thought you're going to suffer that in that endgame. This looks unpleasant, but probably holdable. I highly doubt you're going to lose your knight in any position, although it doesn't look particularly nice.
Yeah, you still need to be quick, I think, here with black. Therefore, he attacks the white knight. If the white knight steps back into the center, ideas such as b5 would appear, deflecting the white bishop. The white bishop has a tent built, caging this knight right now. The knight would want to come out, and there we go. The knight is going to get out of the corner there, and he's still a pawn up temporarily with the opposite color bishops.
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be a draw any moment, surely.
There
Knight's
it
off.
is. And winning this would be incredibly impressive on behalf of actually Hikaru. Him failing to defend it would be probably more impressive.
Yeah, it's just about Hikaru now. Do you think he's going to sit? He could still play this, even though he's on the defensive side with white. He could play it on for another 50 moves easy.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, he's done it before many times in the SEC.
And what's funny is that if everything was flipped, then the pawn would be promoting on the wrong color square for black. So for anybody in the audience, the corner pawn promotion, A or H, has to match the color of your bishop if it's king, bishop, and pawn versus king. Chess is a really cruel game. There are positions where you literally only have a king left. The other side has a king, pawn, and a bishop. Pawn is on the outskirts. But as long as you make it to the corner first and it's not the right color, you draw the game. Having said all of that, literally none of that applies here. I'm just trying to kill some dead air. This game will go on for quite some time. Alireza will try to win, David, but you're just going to trade a bunch of pawns, and the bishop will save itself to sacrifice for the a pawn.
Exactly. Just not enough weaknesses. In these endgames, you need 2 pass pawns, ideally more than 3 ranks apart, 3 files apart. Or you need weaknesses in the opponent's camp. A way in for your king, a second, as well as a pass pawn, a second weakness to attack. Here, I think, Levy, maybe you're going to predict the future. We could see some exchanges. Black create an H and an A pawn. White's king will run to the H file.
Yep.
The bishop will give up itself for the A pawn.
That is exactly right. We're actually nearing that particular situation. Chess is so cruel. You could have king, bishop, 2 pawns versus king, bishop. That's it. But if they're too close together, you can't actually push them through because the bishop would sacrifice itself. It's brutal.
Yeah, chess is full of those paradoxes. The pawn is marching, but the white bishop on the diagonal easily controlling everything. The black king moving would be met by the white king stepping back. I'm surprised he allowed this, but still a dead drawn position. The white bishop will plant itself on the g6 square, blocking the black g-pawn, and the white king will stop the a-pawn from marching.
This is actually a worst-case scenario because Hikaru could plant the bishop and literally kill so much game time, and Alireza can't finish the game. He would need to probably give up his a-pawn and then maneuver, and then Hikaru could sacrifice a pawn and go another 50 moves, and he will absolutely do that because he's up 2 points.
Wow. Cynical but effective, and it's something he's done so many times. He actually sacrifices the f-pawn immediately, just in order to plant his bishop on the g6 square. And Alireza, I think he should have hit that offer draw button 4 minutes ago.
But Hikaru wouldn't even take it, right?
Yeah, possibly, but at least ask the question.
Yeah.
Well, at least then he would know. Just make some quick flurry of moves. Everything's blockaded now. It is a dead draw. Look at Hikaru's body language. He's happy to make those moves. Eat more time off the clock. 46 minutes left.
This is what happens when you play against the game clock, right? Like this happens all the time. It happens in many, many sports, and this will matter. I think when this endgames, okay, they just make a draw.
Yeah, Hikaru could easily have eaten another minute or 2 off, but ultimately he wants to get going with his next game, and back to the Queen's Gambit accepted. This very spicy line, b5. And as we said earlier, the key move is bishop to f4, but Alireza doesn't know that. He hasn't had a break since the last time this opening was played. And queen to a5 check. Will Hikaru improve? No. Back to this sort of thing. The black knight coming back as a blockader.
Well, he liked it, and he won. Like, really, the pressure's on Firouzja. The guys are going to play the same 10 moves because the position has enough life. Alireza clearly feels like his position was better. He just mishandled it. Hikaru feels like, I won. So you're going to have to prove me wrong.
Yeah, and it's funny how these things go. Like in open tournaments these days, even in closed tournaments at the top level, classical chess, you see people switching things up, ducking, dodging, diving, all those opening surprises. But it's just opening debates in the SEC. They play the same opening, they prepared maybe 3 or 4 lines. It's just kind of, sometimes it feels like battering your head against a wall, sometimes it feels like you're making a breakthrough. But Firouzja, to play back into this and to burn 40 seconds off his clock, that is surprising. Exact same position so far.
Yeah, it is, and he's even repeated it. Although the last time I don't think he played h3. Yeah, right. That's new. He plays directly in the center now. But like David and I had already discussed, anybody watching who knows the Benko Gambit, Black plays b7, b5 early in the game. He played it early in the game here too, just totally different circumstances, and he never even lost a pawn. Like in the Benko Gambit, you're down a pawn. Here, Black will play rook b8, and knight e5, knight c4. This is a position Hikaru definitely will have a feel for. I think he plays a lot of these positions with the bishop on g7, modern, King's Indian. This is really up his alley.
Yeah, it's something you said earlier. It's just the ease of ideas. Like, just, wow. I mean, if White's having to play moves like that, yes, it might be good, but it's going to burn time. It's going to feel awkward. Queen on h2. He's just trying to gain time against this knight. And, ooh, rook takes e5 tactics. There would be a flurry of exchanges, and at the very end, f6 would fork 2 pieces.
But queen e6 check is now stopped because on the previous move, that would have been all possible, right? So the knight on d4 covers and then king h1. There was also knight f3. There was knight f3. That was a nice little idea.
Wow. To play queen h2 and king h1 in a middle game with a board packed full of pieces,
yeah.
That is a rare sight.
And white is better. Chess up until like 2023 would have never looked like this. Can you imagine some of the great players like of the past? Just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, mid-20th century Botvinnik would have been looking at this being like, what? How can you play these moves? And rook takes e5, apparently now a super strong idea for white. It involves some sacrifices. If he doesn't play this now, we will show it. But he has to go for something tactical before black is able to create some serious counterplay now on the queen
And I
side.
guess then the question is, what is the idea? Rook e5, bishop e5, queen e5, f6. Do you just sack the bishop? Because literally, what else can you do?
Yeah, apparently you move your queen in that position and then play d6, bishop c4 check. It's crazy.
But there's absolutely no chance.
Let's show it.
Like if he finds this, he might even win the match. Yeah, okay, like...
No chance.
Yeah, he had to sack his rook and then make a defensive move, which was an offensive move. Queen...
Apparently every move is good here, but this is the computer saying queen to e4, pawn takes, and d6, opening up lines for the bishop. This is superhuman chess. Maybe just not human chess at all. And in this position, I mean,
And then rook d4.
Oh, and then rook d4.
And then rook d4. That's the idea.
Wow. And just to show that, white would have 2 pieces for the rook. And due to a pin here, would just be winning.
Clearly, both players showing a catastrophic abnormality of their chess skill, not finding this.
Yeah. In classical, maybe we could criticize, but not in Speed Chess Championship. The bishop went back.
I think this concept would take minimum like 10 to 15 minutes to even remotely come up with. So, but yes, rook e4 on the board and totally different flavor of position.
Yeah, very tense instead. Hikaru still with 1 good knight, but the other piece has been rotating around, as he would say. Still weaknesses. Who would you take here?
Here, I think white. I don't know what black is going to do next. It does feel he has been pushed back to a point. Like, his knights were very good. It still feels like all these moves are quite superficial. I don't... you know what I mean? Like, at some point, you will run out of... Okay, but if you let him start trading down, maybe not.
Yeah, this last move, it's a bit materialistic, but he might win a pawn. The c5 pawn might hang if black does take the bishop positionally desirable. He will have some very good dark squares now, but white does have the extra material, the extra pawn, and yeah, I don't know. I think Alireza is going to be pretty happy that the clocks are still level at least, not mishandling his clock as much as he was in earlier games in the bar, going a bit crazy. d6, that it's got to be on the radar because f7 is hit, but he doesn't pause to think.
No, he's playing much more straightforward and logical chess, and he's up a pawn. He's always saving d6. Oh, d6 would be met with maybe e5 now, by the way, which is nice.
And the black queen now indirectly covers the f7 square. White steps back, saying, okay, you can move your knight out of the center, but that will come at the cost of a queen trade. And, okay, can he grind it out with the extra pawn?
This is going to take another 10 minutes, you know, to grind this down. And if Hikaru can defend another opposite color bishop endgame and continue the 2-point advantage, it's going to be a real problem for Firouzja.
Yeah, he's running out of time, running out of opportunities, but still plenty of life left here. The problem is the white knight now. Can't really get back into the game. It's just cut out by this beautiful black bishop. The black knight is the dream blockader.
King f8, rook c7.
Who's better?
Yeah, by the way, really.
Yeah, just easier to play for black at least. But, okay, the knight's coming home. The knight's coming round.
Wow. Knight b7.
Yeah, progress. Progress for white.
It's like Hikaru's playing for a win. It's really what it feels like.
He wants to keep the queen, the knights on. He wants to isolate one of the white pawns, eventually win that pawn. He has the better bishop. The white bishop staring at a wall of its own pawns, and there we go. He gives it back. Oh, classy moves there from Alireza.
Finds it just at the right moment. 20 seconds on the clock, but a positional pawn sacrifice opens his bishop, gets his incredible knight outpost and an outside pass pawn.
Oh, that was a beautiful transition. Without that pawn sacrifice, yeah, he would have been struggling to break through. Now, this pawn is a beast.
King g7, now there's no knight checks for white.
Ooh, rook behind the pawn, though. It's getting dangerous. Hikaru shaking his head. The white knight's going to be left defended, most importantly, but it's going to be beautiful. The black bishop, not a great piece.
Now the question is, do you play for b7, immediately try to push through? Hikaru always looking for a moment to take that bishop and maybe take the knight, but white's position is so solid here. It's just a matter of how do you improve?
At some point, he's going to push. There we go. Now the black rook cannot team up with this other rook to attack it. He's going to have to go back, and the knight retreats. Great technique.
Maybe you have to take the bishop now. You have to destabilize somehow. Oh, now you will never take.
And the rook's just coming to c8. White's got maximum control. Hikaru's busted.
He's totally lost.
He's under 10 seconds, and the rook's getting through no matter what.
Hikaru can't believe it.
He's just been outplayed in this last few moves. Alireza, this is beautiful technique. Starting with d6, that pawn sacrifice back, and he takes the win. He's within 1 point of Hikaru Nakamura.
After the crowd reaction there, Alireza Firouzja getting his first win in 3+1. The pre-match prediction was that it would be 4-4 in this segment. And that is a very impressive win in a position where things were under control for a while for Hikaru.
Yeah, that was not an obvious advantage even for Alireza, but he made it look very smooth. And back to this opening, the Catalan, this early queen exchange variation, and Hikaru believing in his chances. Last time it fizzled out quite quickly. He didn't get too much, and is he going for that same exact draw? Is he just trying to eat time off the clock? Same again.
What?
Everything just as we saw a bit earlier.
This is insanely confusing.
Why? Does he believe he's better? Evaluation bar disagrees with him.
Yes. Sadly, he doesn't have one of those during the game. Neither does Alireza. But yeah, this is definitely confusing.
Last time we saw bishop to f6 and knight to c7. There was a long think before that. This time he's going instantly for the e-pawn and the bishop. Maybe an even better version for Alireza. The eval bar's even slightly on black side, although opposite color bishops like the likely outcome.
So is Hikaru just favoring his black openings now? Does he want to play bullet? Why would he go directly back for this pawn down endgame?
Yeah, he did just lose with black. Like, his position was fine at some point, but he was never better.
Right.
That is surprising. He's going to throw away a white just for the sake of some time off the clock. Maybe he just sees it as a bit of a break, like a chance to recover and think again about what to do next, but surprising.
That could be actually, because there will be a break after this, in all likelihood. That could be he's trying to regroup, take a look at his black openings. But I'm really not sure.
He hasn't made much headway, at least objectively, in the Catalan. Maybe he's running out of ideas and he's saving an opening choice for later. Maybe feels like it would be wasted now, while Alireza still has some time on the clock, has his backup after winning the last game. This is now a level position. You can't catch the knight on c1. It will escape.
I'm still very confused.
Goes against conventional wisdom.
Yeah, for sure.
Use the white pieces.
All the pieces are gone. And we go to this and... Okay. This will likely be a draw. Probably after this we will regroup. Yeah, Hikaru clearly just taking his time. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, shout out to our audience. Still enjoying the chess. It's been a long, long day here at the semi-finals, but still plenty of action left in the semi-final. I think here he's just contemplating how to win his pawn back in the safest manner possible. Maybe the white knight can go up to d8, threaten some checks, threaten knight c6. And nice to see people still enjoying stuff out there. The knight does move. Black is still a pawn up, though. I mean, how much risk is acceptable? Probably nothing so far, but if the black bishop gets back into d4, if the black king gets out the corner.
Yeah, we definitely needed the knights on the board to actually cause any headaches. The bishops aren't going to be able to do it themselves.
Yeah, as long as the knights are on, Hikaru's not drawing this game easily.
Well, a5? What exactly was being thought about there?
Maybe knight back to c5 or b4, but yeah, this is very logical stuff from both sides so far.
The second the knight goes to c5, knight e6 will come in half a second. Or knight d5 even. Yeah, knight d5 looks plenty good.
Okay, still some tricks. The knight can capture on b6 now for white, but the black knight will reply by going to e4. Some forks in the air. The black knight wants to come to e4, d2. And yeah, still some calculation needs to be done for Hikaru Nakamura, who's low on time, under 44 seconds, gets over 2 minutes. King steps forward, great move. Everything defended now for black, though. Can he keep the knights on the board? Knight to d6 is one option. Knight takes pawn on f2 is another option, at risk of getting the knight trapped yet again. How brave is he going to be? Alireza using his time bank here, his time advantage to calculate. He doesn't even need to move the knight necessarily. Bishop takes knight would change the nature of the position. Black has an extra pawn, though, and bishops tend to be better than knights with pawns on both flanks. key moment if he wants to keep playing for a win.
Yeah, for sure. And he also could be totally happy with just going to a break. It's not often you get handed a position where you're effectively just trying to win an endgame. Yeah, but this not too much happening here.
The white bishop can choose its diagonal, and the black knight will get out, but material pawns, they're all getting traded off. The 1 pawn advantage, as we saw a couple of games ago, will not make any real difference with the opposite color bishops. The white knight's so strong that it surely will find a way to trade itself off for its counterpart a bit later.
Only thing you want to do is not get lazy. You don't want to accidentally trap your knight on a4 somehow. Knight a4, bishop d4, and then all of a sudden... Right, okay. Did Hikaru just make a face there? What was that?
Yeah, maybe he's frustrated that he hasn't been able to force the draw. Maybe he's annoyed about his clock time. Time mismanagement he talked about earlier. It's under 20 seconds. Now the black king is coming.
Yeah. Well, not to d4, but...
Not yet. That would force an instant draw after the knights disappear.
Okay.
Yeah, the black knight still can't get out without an exchange. That is the reason Alireza is struggling to create winning chances here. What to do next? Maybe at some point he'll start pushing the h-pawn.
I love how in white's position you literally have to touch nothing. Was there knight d1 even you could have went for? Okay.
And knight d1 was possible, 99% accuracy for Alireza Perugia here. It's been one of those games, Levy.
Shocking.
Perfect play by both, almost. Hikaru, though, slightly low accuracy as he's the one trying to force the draw. And bishop g1, we've seen a big mistake, apparently, finally, by one of the players. Bishop g1 was not found. That would have gone after the pawns, vulnerable pawns. With the use of some forks, black would have got a big advantage. Can he do it again? He does. Game on.
Okay, now the weakness has been created in the white position.
Oh.
And knight e4.
He's dropped a pawn. The king saves itself from a check. And a second pawn drops. We talked about it earlier. 2 pawns. As far apart as possible here. He still needs to create a second pass pawn on the queen side, but huge winning chances for Alireza.
Yeah, absolutely massive. This is unfathomable from the white side.
Is this chess karma? Playing for a draw with white rarely works out. Here we go. He needs to get the knights off. Still, if the knights disappear, it is a draw. But the black knight is so good and so strong at kicking away the enemy forces, and the pawn is running.
There's like just enough tricks here. Maybe knight d3. He's going to lose on time.
Oh, 1 second. He's got to move. Oh!
Twice he has 1.0. What?
G2 wins a piece, though.
Yeah, it's over.
Alireza strikes back. Wow, what a way to just wipe out that lead of Hikaru's. And we're back to the Queen's Gambit accepted.
And I guess this will be the last game. And okay, we have...
Deja vu.
Yes, the players are just rattling off their moves.
Yeah, I think we'll see the players check this opening line in the break and maybe come up with some improvements. But Hikaru believes in its solidity. 6-6. Wow, we've seen momentum change hands now a couple of times. And Hikaru needs to hold this game. It feels like 3 in a row would not be great psychologically. He still has active pieces, but we've seen it before.
David, that was weird. That was a weird game.
It just felt like he threw it away somehow. Like, at some point, if you're playing for a draw, you've got to force the draw. And he never quite forced it, and slowly but surely. Very impressive from Alireza, though, we should mention.
For sure. It just feels like sometimes teams or players seize back the momentum in a match. And that almost felt like it was, I don't want to say given. Given is not the right word, but it just felt like a strange moment to just say, like, all right, I'm totally happy with the position that's on the board.
And it's rare to see Hikaru, one of the best defenders in the world, fall in a position like that. But maybe it was just the psychology of having white, playing that same line that didn't work out earlier. And, okay, he was ultimately punished. Knight to b6. Bit of an odd square, no real threat. Unless he's arguing that the knight comes into the center and he can go for the d-pawn. Surely he's not going to trade off his beautiful bishop just to remove a defender of the center.
Yeah, crazier things have happened, but these positions are so tough to play with black. And if you don't have a huge amount of experience, like there's a difference between doing the preparation and some training games and maybe looking at how computers would play this and actually playing it against one of the best dynamic players in the world, it can feel very different. Last game we saw Firouzja figure it out, but Hikaru clearly undeterred. They're 1-1 in these positions now, so he goes right back to it.
Yeah, and trading off a defender of the Black King. Black's fianchetted bishop. You spoke about how Hikaru likes that in many openings. And will those bishops disappear without them? Maybe the Black queenside pawns will be harder to defend. Black's knights will lack squares like d4 long term. Okay, he does trade them off. White's going to double up rooks now in the center. Yeah, this is pressure. This is serious pressure on the Black position already.
We had a similar kingside attacking game. Similar is a strong statement, but in terms of just the pure kingside attack with rooks, light squared bishop, knight, etc. in that Jobava game. And Hikaru did fight back to somewhat of a relative degree of comfort and then just made a one-move mistake. So now the question is, will Alireza just go for the kill? Will he go g4, h4, h5, bishop d3, etc.? I don't really know how Black coordinates these knights, I have to tell you.
Yeah, not easy. He's got to move that knight on f5. Is he going back? Is he going into the center into d4? But queen to g3, that's setting up some tricks. Maybe rook takes e7 ideas in the near future. Black's queen not super stable. It feels like the b6 knight just really misplaced. Can't come back across to the other side of the board. Knight e4 is a big threat now. It's adding up all the threats. And it's probably just totaling a big advantage for White.
I'm not really sure yet how you can continue here. Like, I'm looking at, do you ever commit to c4 just for some sort of counterplay? You destabilize your knight if you do that? I hate that move.
Yeah, he might have to try something like that, though. He drops back with his queen.
Trying to reroute maybe the other knight to d6?
Ooh, that's slow. Is it time for the h-pawn? When in doubt, h4, h5.
Right, yeah, no, it's 100% accurate. Like, yeah, there it is, h4. He's made every improving move.
Logical, very simple as well. Black has zero activity, zero counterplay. The knight's just hitting thin air. White's pieces are so nicely centralized, coordinated. The rooks, the queen, everything lining up. The Black King has no defenders. Hikaru, it must have been an age since he last lost this number of games in a row if he does fall in this one. h4.
After h4, things are very difficult for Black. You can't play h6. You can't play h5. You have to allow the pawn to go to h5, and then you have to really grit your teeth and survive. He might have to just play knight d7 to win back a little bit of time. And then I would love to play h5 anyway, but I think I will retreat or move the rook, and f6 is just a hideous move, but it might be required. Is there like bishop g6 already?
It's tempting, right? Bishop sacrifice. Maybe it will be ignored and the rook would be captured instead. And the Black King would be able to hide in the corner on a dart square, most importantly. But very tempting.
Yeah.
Calculating. I mean, there's rook h5.
Rook e6, rook h5. Rook h5 is a nice move, threatening rook h7. Then Black would play f5. You have to make sure. And then rook g5. Okay, or that, you know. Or that.
Ooh, king in the corner. Had to slide over. He's going to try and block it, surely now with g5. But the pawn's going to sit on h6 for the rest of the game.
Hikaru's grimacing. I think he's just rolling the dice here, basically. He again has Alireza right where he wants him. Much better, with 3 times as much time. And that is clearly the strategy of the match. And he has out-scrambled him. That's really that's happened in so many games now. Alireza will have to put him away here, David.
He really will, but he's on the brink already. It feels like this pawn is gone in the next few moves. h7 is the ultimate target, and Hikaru, just no time, 6 seconds. He's gesturing that he really is struggling right now. White bishop blocked.
Queen d6, rook f6, okay.
How to add the pressure. The rook can slide. The Black Queen might also come along and defend. Yeah, still no immediate breakthrough. Nothing obvious.
Now that knight on d4 could still come in handy with some knight f3s. So rook e7, maybe he was setting up some ideas. Didn't quite work, but that's the KO punch.
Full board awareness.
Yeah, reacting to that is absolutely brutal. Queen b6 is not possible, but d6 could be, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I'll pretend I saw that. And now, the knight hanging. Hikaru loses on time.
Wow.
Here we go. It's back to e4, e5. That is not Alireza Fruja. There we go. He appears again. And it's the anti-Berlin. A quick bishop for knight exchange. Hikaru at least is changing the pawn structure, creating some imbalance. And this move, not the most popular, is aimed at getting rid of black's bishop pair early. I like it. He's had some great results in this pawn structure, even against the likes of Magnus Carlsen back in the day.
H3, a nice move. Nothing can go to G4 anymore. There's also positions you could consider G4. You could really consider it. Playing it is a whole nother story. White plays a lot of these improving moves. Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to like 2020, 2021, even 2022. I feel like Hikaru and Magnus were really exploring a lot of these positions in the anti-Berlin and the Berlin and so on and so forth. So curious what's going to come out of this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game. Like, white now doesn't really want to castle kingside because black will go the other way and then launch some pawns on the kingside. If white goes queenside, maybe black would launch some pawns. It feels like neither side wants to commit. And there we go, still waiting. And now an exchange of bishop for knight, back to almost symmetry in terms of the pawn structure. But Hikaru waits. He wants to play b4, and that has been stopped.
And I guess, does he also want to play bishop c3, or he's more than happy to just leave the bishop on d2 and just sort of, yeah, castle?
I was wondering if he might put the bishop on c3 and kind of continue waiting for black's king to commit first, but now Alireza wants to play it a bit safer. Makes sense. He's up on the scoreboard. He's got black.
How crazy is g3, knight h4, knight f5? g3, king g2, knight h4?
I like it. I think g3 is a great kind of useful move anyway, just to improve the king, and knight h4 definitely on the radar.
By the way, you might just be forced into playing something like that because you're going to run out of moves pretty quickly. Now, f6 by black would be a disaster because you would play knight h4 for free and get a completely amazing position. Or so it would seem. And there's g3. Okay.
Great call, Levy. The knight might be coming. Well, maybe he's just going to advance the king. He's waiting. King to g2, there we go. Just small improvements here. But the queenside pawn structure favors black now. This white pawn, the only way to defend it later might be to push forward, but that will create some further weaknesses. I do like what Alireza's been doing.
I was thinking knight h4 and maybe even trade the queens, but black playing g6 is just going to be a problem.
Controlling the knight, that's definitely the solution. At some point, black might just drop the bishop back as well to e7, with or without g6. Looks very stable, looks very equal for now.
Maybe you can reposition the knight to the e3 square. Double the rooks. Rook to d2, rook d1.
Makes a lot of sense. We'll see that. Yeah, at least Hikaru is playing a bit quicker. I think he's told himself he has to use the clock as a weapon, just as he was doing a bit earlier. And there we go. As predicted, knight to b6 is a bit of an awkward question. And okay, transition. Pawn trade.
Now, in the long run, is the 4-on-3 Berlin structure for black better than the 4-on-3 structure for white? I don't really think so.
Yeah, that's the eternal dilemma of these structures. You get it in the Berlin, the Scotch, black with some doubled pawns. Can't create a pass pawn, but actually, with the pawn on b5, for example, there we go. The knight is cemented, the bishop looks nice. Very hard for what the white pieces to move, with the queen still on the board.
Yeah, purely on structure, maybe not so impressive, but the knight on c4 causes a lot of problems. It's really difficult to move. Hikaru's trying to move, and apparently already a potential misstep.
Yeah, the problem is you can never really play f4s. That would only loosen up some squares in the white camp. Knight f5 does look quite nice, though. Even if it is just a one-dimensional hit for now, it does tend to be the type of move that scares the opponent, and he's going to try and trade off bishops. I think Alireza Fruja here, great call. White's bishop was nice and stable, holds the queen side, looks at the king side, bishop f6 next.
He allows knight f5, but it doesn't matter. Because like you said, Hikaru's position might be falling apart soon. Hikaru's had some time advantages for sure. Both of them really have, that end up fading at a couple of critical moments. So now there's this call here, like, what do you play? Do you play rook e1 and try to play e5, but then bishop h4, so you don't have time to do everything.
Yeah, big decision. The knight feels like it has to move. I don't think he wants to allow this shattering of his pawn structure. But knight f5, bishop f6, once the bishops disappear, how to hold this pawn?
Oh, he just goes for it, huh? c3?
Hikaru looked away there as if he'd missed something. Does he want b3 just to sideline the knight? But can you actually catch it on the edge of the board?
Maybe some b3 and rook d1, like super computer-like idea, you know, and then get the rook to the other side. That actually doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, I think he's forced here to do something like that. pawn to c3 would just allow the black rook to come in.
Yeah.
That's a secondary threat, as well as the pawn on b2 hit.
You could also maybe just, okay, yeah, he goes B, yeah, now, interesting.
Ooh.
Okay, materialistic. He's trying to get the pawn back immediately.
Yeah, c2 might fall, but a4 is the most important pawn to pick up.
He can't lose.
Yeah.
Can't lose 4 games in a row.
But he is on the defensive side. I don't think black is ever losing this position. Hikaru just needs to knuckle down now, hold at any cost. Oh, it's still going to be torture. I think with queens off, he's got great chances, especially if the white rook lands. But for now, still a long, long way from a draw. Magnus regularly wins these types of positions. Queens and rooks with an extra pawn marching down the queen side. Can Alireza do the same? For now, white is holding e4, but black's so active. This is going to be a tight one. Alireza's up on time. 49 seconds against 23. Can Hikaru hold? Can he get the queens off at the right moment?
Yeah, queen. It's going to be potentially like a 100-move queen endgame is where this is headed.
Not sure who that's good for. Oh, he allows the black rook to block the file now. And there is a pawn hanging in the center here. Given a question mark, the blue arrow appears. Hikaru's just blundered another pawn. He can take on c5, but 100-move queen endgame might not even last that long. Black's got an outside pass pawn. White's pawn structure would be ruined. Now 2 pawns down.
Yeah, this is devastating, and he's down to 5 seconds.
This feels like a deadly pin, though. The white rook is almost paralyzed, immobilized for eternity. Something along this diagonal, surely. The black rook just needs to get out the way, move, and come in to attack the white rook. c4, rook d3 is almost a pre-move now. You can give a check first. The rook's going to go back to d3, trade off the rooks, and the black c-pawn's going to decide. Alireza's going to get a 4th win in a row.
Yeah, 4 wins is absolutely crazy. Wow. There's no more checks.
Does he have to worry about this, or can the black king just start running away? Is d2 winning? He does believe he can escape here. That looks correct. And there we go.
Wow.
Alireza, 4 in a row.
Alireza Firouzja has won 4 games in a row in the 3+1 segment after losing early. Hikaru had a 2-game lead, and now it is back to Firouzja. That's incredible.
Yeah, who would have thought this just a few games ago? Alireza on a hot streak, and now he changes it up. He's the one to go his own way. Alireza actually shook his head because he realized that he'd been away during the break. He wasn't at his computer. Hikaru had clearly looked at it. Mind games.
Yeah, and for those curious, by the way, after that Alireza win, the poly market odds have gone up by 8% for him, which is incredible. He now has a 2-game lead, 4.5, 1.5. This is not the score line that was predicted. It was 4-4. He surpassed that, and Hikaru has way, way, way to catch up.
That is crazy. Odds in his favor. We talked about that maybe before the match slightly, but yeah, now surely everyone's thinking this is Alireza's match to take. In the meantime, though, this position might be the best one Hikaru's had in ages.
This is almost the same effect that happened when Hikaru went up. Like, you almost feel like you're playing with house money and you relax, but it's really never over. This is incredible, though. I don't know what's happened, but like the train has sort of derailed a little bit, and that's he's got to get it back on track.
Yeah, the odds are just feel like they're fluctuating constantly. Alireza, I think, got bluffed into this variation. This looks like a Karo Khan, this e takes f6 pawn structure, but this is a dream version. Queen's off. Black king should be safe.
Yeah, but Hikaru just, again, unhappy with his decision there. He went for this quick move, bishop e5. Alireza just giving him a pawn, sacrificing a little bit of material for the lack of development in the black position and the king safety. And now it's, oh my gosh, this is... Like, I guess Hikaru's got to go for this, or else he's looking just at another potentially depressing position.
Yeah, I was really surprised Hikaru went for bishop to e5. Like, he could have played like f5, very typical positional move. The knight on g3 would have been really stuck. But he's gone all-out greed for pawns. And well, now, I talked about the black king being super safe. I think I might have to eat my words. 2 moves and it's all changed.
I think he's missing a lot of the moves that Alireza is playing. That's like really what it feels like. Alireza keeps finding annoying creative resources to keep the pressure, and Hikaru's sort of playing catch up. And that could be just like a blitz thing. You know, in bullets sometimes that's when you enter flow state, but it's spiraling out of control very fast.
Yeah, he needs to stop the bleeding. Rook to d8. Ugh. He's dropping this pawn now. On c5, it's going to be back to level material. Still with some questions to answer for black. Yeah, I still don't hate it for black, but I see the eval bar. It's changed the momentum even within this game alone.
Yeah, wow. This is shocking.
Yeah,
It's been a shocking past hour.
exactly. Tough times for Hikaru Nakamura. He gets pinned in the center. The black knight now. I mean, hit and c4 is maybe coming. Rook to d1 is coming. There's still a check in the air. Once c5 drops.
It's incredible it's not just like completely lost for black. There just feels like a million threats coming your way. But I guess you have to stop them one move at a time. Right now, white is threatening maybe c4, maybe bishop c5. There's some stuff to calculate. You're definitely going to have to get checked somewhere and run your king across the board. It's feeling super dangerous. I don't even know, like, what do you play here? Like a bishop
e6?
yeah, e6, rook b8, those feel kind of natural.
Yeah, I think those would be good ways to start, but he is feeling the heat, Hikaru, down to around the 1 minute mark. Long pause. As you say, it's just survival, move by move.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a narrow path. He only has a few ways to maintain, well, I say maintain the balance, he is worse, but just to stay in this game. But he needs to move. Hikaru, slowed down. Bishop a6.
Wow.
Apparently a mistake. The bar's shooting up. The white rook is hit on f1, but that white rook might have wanted to move anyway.
And c4 threatened. Meaning, not threatened, covered.
Covered.
Covered, so you cannot push with white.
So the question is whether to capture the c5 pawn while it's still up for grabs with a check, very tempting, or whether to move the white rook first. Also, knight to f5 check is maybe on the radar. That knight has been perched there, lurking for a while. What to do?
And he's talking to himself. It really feels like a youth versus experience type of match.
Shout out to Zach. Is there a check on g7? Is that pawn up for grabs now? Can he take it?
He couldn't play to f8 because bishop c5 and then bishop d5 would have won the game. So don't worry about it. We're just talking to ourselves out here. Yeah, knight g7 coming with a check is really brutal.
Mm-hmm. The white rook will be hit, though. The white knight will be hit if he captures a pawn on g7 with a check.
Yep.
So maybe rook to e1, rook to d1 on the radar. The white rook can save itself, but now it's Alireza under 20 seconds. Both players taking turns to just dive into the think tank. And there we go. The knight has been kicked back. He's surviving. He's doing a good job of it, Hikaru.
Both rooks in the center. Look at this. He's just giving up the knight completely to take the knight on d5. Now maybe bishop c4. Uh-oh.
Great move. Only move there, but a strong one for Hikaru. Oh, the clock's gone red. 5 seconds.
This is insane for Alireza. Insane time management by Alireza, and he is now much worse.
Now the Black King gets out of danger, out of the firing line. This is the best position Hikaru's had now. He needs to keep taking those pawns.
A2.
Second one hanging, 2 pawns up.
F5 is a fork.
F5 looks very tempting now. You can start trading stuff even.
Yeah. Yeah, Hikaru's calming himself down. I was about to say, he has to lock in. He has to win this game.
He needs that flow state, especially while Alireza is down at 2 seconds.
Oh my, did he just hang the...
Why would he hang that pawn? He hung a7. Now he's a pawn up, but doubled F pawns don't mean that much.
Insane.
He thought he was trapping the rook, I think. He thought that white rook was trapped, but it's saving itself. Still ugly squares, though. He's hunting it down.
Is it saving itself?
Bishop h4.
Wasn't bishop h4 just like trapping the... It's still trapping the rook.
He found it finally.
Don't hang your own. Rook d7. Chill out.
Okay, this is it. He has to win this Hikaru. Exchange and a pawn up.
Rook c3.
Rook c3, anything.
c3.
f4.
Yes.
Trading, trading. That's all he needs to do now. Momentum will be changing hands yet again.
Alireza galloping in on a horse, but it's not an always pinned. That's it. Once you're pinned, it's over.
Yeah, rook's coming off the board. Material will be won. Hikaru will see a fist pump, surely. He's almost dead now.
And Firouzja loses, and that is a win for Hikaru Nakamura, clutching it out after 4 wins in a row. And that probably flipped the odds of Polymorgan once again. Now we got 1 more game remaining in this segment in all likelihood, and we are, no, we're probably right hovering at around 1 or 2. It's a chance that we are all square, tied away going into the bullet segment.
Yeah, I think Hikaru wouldn't mind getting a win here, of course, and just moving on without having to play another 3+1 game. That might be the important part. He's been suffering with black. Yes, he got the win there, but oh, this is such a tight match. As we said earlier, if it's 1 point heading into the bullet, it's anyone's game. And back to one of these pawn structures, Levy. Back to one of these typical maneuvering games.
You know who I bet is really enjoying this right now?
Magnus.
Yeah, he's probably sitting there in the hotel. He's got like FaceTime on, seeing the baby, seeing this match, maybe a mirror for the mustache.
Comb.
Yeah, comb, exactly, putting on some cream. Like, life is really good. Like, the gladiators of the day are just draining each other's life force, and then you await the winner. That must be a good feeling, because this can't feel that great for these guys. Like, on the one hand, you love to play high-stakes chess. On the other hand, this is brutal.
Exactly. The stress involved, the recovery time needed afterwards. It's a good job that the finalists will play the second match tomorrow, so they'll have quite a while to recover. But yeah, you don't want to be losing this match, moving into the third place playoff, and then having to go in the first match. What do you think of the position? I really like how Alireza has handled it. Nice pawn center, and again, semi-open C file to stare down on.
I like white. I like the open F file potentially. Like, open is a stretch, but you know, the rook is there on the F file, and I'm personally bad at pawns that are standing like this in the center. I never know when to push. I never know when to relieve the tension, but that's why it's a relatively equal position, and we're going to see quite soon who's going to take over. But yeah, that's open C file. That's a problem for black. Well, for white, meaning.
Mm-hmm. And this pawn is vulnerable. If it ever steps forward, then maybe problems on the D file as well a bit later. Yeah, it feels like white needs to go all in on some attack at some point, but the black knights are formidable guardians of that kingside. Pawn to C3 played.
Some rook E1, D4. If black ever plays knight F4, black is losing a center pawn. Also, D4 always destabilizes that same knight, so you always have to be on the lookout. And it's still such an unpredictable position here. Because it feels like, again, everything's right in the balance, and these guys have gone into the tank so many times in sharp positions and ended up going into insane scramble mode.
Yeah, very likely to happen here as well. Would be an appropriate way to end the 3+1. I think a good positional move now, there we see from Alireza. Trading off in the center just to stop your D4 idea, which I think was important for white, but also giving white a long-term weakness, the isolated pawn. Now the queen dives in, reminding white of the holes in his camp. Suddenly the white pieces don't look so coordinated anymore.
No, no, absolutely not. This is looking quite sad for white.
Oof. Yeah, it feels like the energy of his last win, Hikaru, is drained out of this game, at least. Retreat mode now. How can black up the tension, up the pressure?
I think at this rate, we very well could see another blitz game, by the way. This could get really ugly really fast. I mean, Hikaru's conjured up some unreal defenses today. But this one's not looking very pleasant.
Oh, nice move. The knight's coming into E3, into the center, entering enemy lines. That's scary.
Knight F4 is always there. Luckily, they're not attacking anything just yet together with that knight, but the knight on G4 could always go to E3, like you said. And it's just like now.
It's tempting. I think he's relying on some third rank stuff, although I don't really see it. Knight F6, very least, would repeat the position, but he wants more. Alireza.
Like knight E1? That hangs the knight.
That hangs the knight, yeah.
Oh, now knight E1 is a real idea?
Ooh, knight G4, apparently. I see a blue arrow on my screen, at least. It's the best move for black, getting out of there before...
Yeah, that repeats. That repeats, right? So that's not...
It's not obvious. And he clearly wants more.
Okay.
Wincing there, Alireza. He goes the other way with his knight.
I would take that with the bishop, and then stuff in your position looks pretty well coordinated. Also, knight c4 and black's position, that doesn't feel right.
It felt like he was playing a different way, just to be different there. Like, rather than... He could have repeated once and then found something else rather than knight into e3. Strange. It does feel wrong. I quite like your knight takes, and then, I don't know, just bring the rook to the center, just control everything, and the worst might have passed.
And I like bishop takes also. I mean, both are, one is definitely better, but Black's bishop doesn't really feel like the piece we are trying to glorify, you know? But yeah, it's better to preserve a bishop. Okay, he takes an, oh, that is just very simple. That is shockingly simple. Just replace the knight.
Yeah, he wants that endgame Hikaru. He hasn't had them all his own way, but he has forced this position where he's got quite a nice outside majority, and the knight is going to come to some really juicy squares.
Those pawns for white on the g-file look stupid, but they're doing a really nice job. Knight a5. Yeah, rook d1, rook d2.
Take the d-file. Queenside majority. If the white king is able to centralize later, park itself on like e3, it just feels like he's got full control.
And he's going to go to the queen side as well. This very well could take us to the break.
It looks more and more likely by the move, and I think at this point Alireza would love to get to the break, still with the lead intact.
Yeah, this is far from clear. I mean, who's even playing for a win? Maybe Black against the e4 pawn, but how do you even win it? Oh, nice.
Defends everything.
Well, that's tricky. Trying to make progress, trade the knight, get the b pawn. I think the doubled c pawns are better than the doubled b pawns for white.
Yeah, they control more squares, more mobile. The white king's finally coming into the center. Yeah, probably objectively it's level, but Alireza is in a bit of time trouble. 10 seconds.
It's going to be our first pure rook endgame scramble, by the way, I think.
And there we go, as you predict.
Rook d7?
Yeah, the white rook cannot trade off there. I think black with a better pawn structure would be better, would have the advantage.
But b4 now, and like, how do you make progress as black? Maybe you don't make progress as black.
Black's so passive. He's trying to play rook c6.
Uh-huh.
Oh. But
Okay,
white still
but
has time.
yes, every move is improving. Rook e6.
As long as he can keep the rooks on, Hikaru can't really lose this. And
Whoa. Can he can take and play c4, b5.
Yeah, he could have taken, and black's pawns couldn't move. White's pawns are mobile. If the rooks come off now, and he has time to push the pawn to b5, he needs the pawn on b5 before black's king gets in. Then he's winning Hikaru.
He can go for it. He can go for it.
He can still take the rooks. Take the rook.
Take
He's
the rook
winning.
now.
c4, b5.
And he does.
Oh, he's finally found it, but he needs to go back first.
Oh, but his pawns totally freeze the right side of the board.
These three pawns, the white pawns stop the black pawns. Beautiful. Black is in Zugzwang, has to go give way, go back.
But now what?
He's waiting, Alireza. I think he can just put king on a5, put a pawn on c4 and push. But he's gone wrong.
Oh, no.
c4. It's a race.
Now he gets b5. This still looks winning for white.
Now it's definitely winning. I think white's king can march
Oh,
safely.
Yeah. A4, now when you go for f5, you just take it. Yep.
White's pawn's quicker.
Queen d... Oh!
Oh, we would have seen a checkmate if the king had gone to c6. We see more checks instead. Still some checks in the air.
Queen c7 may be more accurate before you take.
Ooh, this checkmate on b4 threatened, so white cannot take pawns.
Yep.
So careful. How to get the queens off.
Queen d6 and c6?
Oh, yes, he covers b4. That's a great move. That's the winning idea. Only winning move that he finds it.
And he's found it.
Oh, the king marches forward,
Whoa!
but he's walked into a perpetual, has he? Queen b4, only move. Oh, he finds it again. Alireza had a better check. He had queen a6 earlier.
And this must be winning. Just b... Okay. b7 queen, there was a...
was a skewer. Okay, he's now totally winning. 2 pawns up Hikaru. He has to get this. Alireza has just been too slow. Hasn't had time on the clock to find those defensive resources. And
He just like lost g3 there, I think.
players are panicking now, both of them. But the b pawn is about to win this game. And okay, no hope now for black.
g4 opens up the position, yep.
He needs a Rosen trap. He needs a stalemate.
I doubt we're getting that.
Has put his king in the corner. King, queen f2. Oh.
Okay, it's still not over. It's over.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow. What a way to end the portion levy. 8-8.
Just incredible. Hikaru coming back from 2 games down, staring down his opponent. 4.5, 3.5, a mirror image of the 5+1 section. He definitely can't relax. I know people want a signature. It's easier to give a signature when you've got a 6-game lead like Magnus had after the first 2 segments. This is so close. And David, we have 25 minutes to prove who deserves to be the finalist. Oh, I thought Hikaru was waving somebody down there for a second, but we have go time. And the same opening that we have seen, David.
Wow, here we go, and it's the same Queen's Gambit accepted, this time with a bit of a twist. Alireza has properly gambited a pawn. He's a pawn down now, and the blue arrow appears saying Hikaru should just allow c5 to be taken. This looks much more natural to my eyes. What could be wrong with that? But the bar does rise in white's favor, and ooh, that hit on the black rook means black will not be castling in this game.
No. Well, maybe queenside, but that would be insane. We have 30 minutes of chess now to crown the next finalist of the 2025, I know it's 2026, that's when we did the final Speed Chess Championship. Now I have to tell you, for this first position, white is looking pretty good to my eyes.
Yeah, it looks like black started this game like freestyle. Chess 960, it just looks so poorly coordinated. If black could castle, totally different game.
Well, he's trying.
He's trying.
Yeah, Hikaru castled, but like the 5-year-olds in tournaments do, like the wrong. And now he's got the king and the rook on the wrong square. This will be a problem for in the long run, but it's actually not so bad.
Not so bad for now, but the rook. Whoa! He didn't want the rook. Levy, he was sacrificing it.
I mean, he was, for sure, but the pawn on c3, this is going to be a problem forever for white.
Yeah, this is true. Maybe a step in the wrong direction in general, and Alireza has started off a bit slow on the clock. He's over 10 seconds down now. And okay, he's not whipping up any attack. b3 was a bit odd. He could have defended that in several other ways. And now the black pieces are unraveling. d5 hit.
And this favors Hikaru, who has clearly been the better scrambler today. Better making inflow decisions. Alireza is not feeling it as much. He's done a lot of the outplaying, but he hasn't done a lot of the out-scrambling. Tide match, bullet. Hikaru says Alireza is the best bullet player in the world. He might just be gassing him up a little bit.
Yeah, but this is where Alireza comes into his own, when he doesn't have time to overthink, doesn't have time to really calculate. Those instincts, those supreme dynamic skills come into play.
But today it has been Hikaru, I would say. And by the way, Alireza 10 seconds now to figure this whole thing out.
Yeah, still that 1 second increment. It's messy in the
5.
center. Gotta move. Oh, everything's lined up. That's a good idea, but what next?
Rook a6 is... What? Bishop b5?
Losing time. He goes back. You're right, he's not in the flow. He's losing tempi, and the queen saves itself. Very stable square. Hikaru's controlling everything.
Yeah, just very stable for Hikaru.
Oh, he's up now, a very, very important pawn, and that's
Ooh.
become a few pawns now, and that knight was dying anyway. It gives itself up.
Oh, and there was a big trade, and now Hikaru's just a clean material up, yeah.
3 pawns.
Yep.
Okay, back to 2, but f2 is hanging. Oh, look at that centralization. Beautiful.
That's a fork.
And
you just win the... Oh, e4's hanging.
Stuff hanging. Okay, the knight is trapped, though. That's a great move.
That's, yeah, that's... Wow.
Hikaru's going to win this.
Fate is mate! Okay, okay.
He saw it, and now we go. Game over. A beautiful queen sacrifice, by the way. Queen b8, there's queen takes f2 check. And,
yes, queen f2.
Yeah, he starts as he ended the last portion. 3 in a row.
Firouzja going for some sort of modern approach to the Catalan. Now white will play a3, b3, rook d1, bishop b2, etc. Hikaru also going for a very interesting solution, just allowing Alireza to play his whole setup, but getting a very stable structure, looking to expand with e4.
Yeah, these are tricky, tricky lines. The knight looks beautiful on b4, but how stable is it? White does strike first in the center. Conventional wisdom says that if white gets e4, white's better, but you never know.
Yeah, if you take on b4 for white, like, how does black actually ever capitalize on the pawn on a3?
That's a good point.
No, I don't know. And oh my goodness, this is going to get crazy.
f5, that's a very Firouzja move, very committal. But he's saying, okay, queen's off, and he's got that bind.
Knight e1's a very Hikaru move. Take the knight, knight goes to the middle, then to e5.
He's biding his time, but he knows he can trade that knight off anytime he wants. Knight d3, even just take it immediately.
f4.
Centralize first.
d1, yeah.
Bind.
Then kill time. Kill 5 minutes with one game.
Yeah, and I mean, whoa, b5, he's just giving up a pawn, but d5's even stronger. Connect 4, of course it is.
Yes. Crashing through in the board. CB, rook d5. You can take on b5 now.
Now, and then the d pawn. Best of both worlds.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he should go left. Take this one. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Still good, still good. I'm surprised he let the b pawn survive. If he gets to b4, might hold everything, but he blocks that b4 square. Great technique.
But knight a7 is not a Firouzja move. And he is dominated here. Rook c2, rook c1, knight c2 back.
Yep, he sees a pawn, sticks out like a sore thumb now. How to defend it?
He's relying on some c6. It's like knight a3, c6.
Even that. Going to win the pawn back, but White's going to get a beautiful knight blockade of the isolated pawn.
And the a pawn in the long run is going to be so problematic.
Oh, and he's getting all the rooks off. Now the a pawn's more important than ever.
This is just over.
King, bring the king.
a4 as well,
A4?
right? a4, so you never get b4. Okay, he just brings the king and...
And look at the clock as well. He's so fast now, Hikaru. He started on the front foot. a4.
a4's GG.
Game over. Knights are so bad at stopping those pawns, and there we go.
Wow.
4 in a row.
That was his best. Yeah, 4 in a row back, right?
Yeah.
Incredible. 4-game streaks by both players traded in this match.
And it's this crazy line that Hikaru was looking at on the game review, on the computer, between one of the games earlier. What a weird pawn structure. And here we go, proper fight.
Yeah, this is utter nonsense. What are we looking at? This is like almost completely lost after 10 moves for black, but that's bullet for you.
Apparently d6 was super strong with the idea of trapping the rook in the corner, but which no longer is possible. Suddenly black's bishops are going to come to life, but white still has extra material, extra pawns. Going to get castled.
I can't believe they've played this so many times. It's such an absurd opening.
I've never seen it before at top level, and then for it to appear, what, half a dozen times already and counting? Crazy.
b6. Ferrugia. This is just crazy. Look at this flow state. Bishop b2 striking back.
Hikaru, he's taking bigger risks than ever. He trusts himself more than ever. It's paying off. Whoa. Rook takes bishop, would drop the bishop on c4. White should now retreat to block the hit on his rook.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible.
That's not an obvious one.
Just go back. The favorite knight, queen a5 is also incredible. I just like knight d6 and chill.
Yeah, queen a5 is a tricky move, though. Hitting the rook, it is a pin. Hitting the knight as well. Queen a4, only move from Alireza, finds it, of course. Pin galore now.
What?
Pin, pin. What's happening here? The white king in the firing line.
I guess you can just castle for white?
Oh, castles is clever. The knight would then be hit.
What am I hanging?
Okay, he gets the queens off, and oh, maybe even better. The black knight is trapped now on the edge of the board. White's going to secure the central pawn as well with his knight.
Yeah, Alireza locked in there, David, and he called the bluff, and suddenly Hikaru's sort of out of tricks. He can get the knight out. It's knight c6.
Ooh, clever, but the pawn count is not in his favor. It's 2 pawn advantage for white after that tactical melee. All he needs to do is trade everything off, and momentum could turn again.
Yes. Knight d5, rook d4. You have rook c8 check.
Maybe he'll just trade off those knights and take another pawn. Keep the 2 pawn advantage. There we go.
Yep.
If rooks come off now, it's over. Still alive though, Hikaru. Great defender. Can he do it yet again?
You gotta go you gotta attack the pawns. It's the only way.
Oh. Yeah, that is a very professional move. Defending everything. The king's gonna step forward.
At a minimum, Hikaru's gonna try to defend this for some 50 more moves.
Yeah. While he maintains the lead, that's what he does. Ooh, bishop takes pawn, there's a check.
Yes.
Would have been a check on g3.
But Alireza doing this in a very coordinated fashion. King b4, knight b5, a5, etc. Oh, it's just over now. Knight, oh, it's so close.
Knight c7, that would have been a check, but now it is really over. The pawn's too strong. He's just clinging on here. You can see body language. Hikaru knows he's done. That's classy as well, f3.
It's f3, very nice. But Hikaru's going to play this out. Every second counts in this format.
And now he stretches out, lets his time run down.
He's going to make one more move. Yep. They faked him out a little bit, huh?
Here we go.
No point resigning. You might as well. Every second counts. Alireza's pre-moving the entire game. Look at this. I love this. Hikaru's going to run his time up and probably burn an entire other minute off the clock.
Yeah, he's going to wait. One move from checkmate.
Yep.
And here we go. 50 more seconds will be burned.
That is a lot of time. That is a lot of time, but it is now going to be a 1-game lead for Hikaru as Alireza also snaps a 4-game winning streak of Hikaru.
Let's talk to the crowd. How are people feeling out there as Alireza strikes back, breaks the streak? It stopped at 4. Who are you cheering for now? Who do you think is going to win? Who's going to get the last laugh in this incredible match? All bets are off. Will it turn again?
I was really hoping that this would be a type of match that I commentate on and it wouldn't be like last year. I couldn't be happier.
And we're back to this, Levy. The line that led to all those forced draws and then the Hikaru loss. And, okay, he switches it up with E3 this time. No more knight D7 nonsense.
Yeah, but see, now I feel like it's not going to go that wrong 2 times. Right now, we're going to get to around 16 minutes again with a 1-game scoreline. So he's just burning clock time. And when Alireza is going to have to strike, that's when Hikaru is going to jump back and take the lead. That's what his hope is.
Yeah, he's saying, okay, long game, long grind, but draw. That's all he's happy with. Maybe Firouzja will go a bit crazy here as well, give him the chance in this game. If not, time is disappearing. This is match strategy, so important in the SEC.
Oh, but this is terrible. This is, practically speaking, a completely terrible endgame to have to play in this time format.
Yeah, bishop out c4.
Oh my gosh, he can even just take. Can you
take
imagine bishop d5? This endgame will go 200 moves.
He doesn't need to yet, he doesn't want to yet. Now, maybe now, before the pawns march.
But this is annoying because you will lose a2. And then there's some... Yeah,
some chance, but the Black King's never really going to get in.
we might go to 15 or 14 minutes with this game.
Hikaru's even happy to give up a pawn, and he's going to block the center, or he's going to mimic wherever the Black King goes.
This is tough to play against. You almost think Alireza should have played a King's Indian or something, but he probably just feels, okay, one more game. Fans are going to be on the edges of their seats. It's going to be 15 minutes for him to tie the match.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think this is a good move. He's going to lock the pawn structure, then 50 move rule. That will be enough. Don't even dream about touching the black B pawn.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes, this was very smart.
You can pre-move forever. Bishop D5, bishop C4. White can do nothing against that.
Hikaru's going to sit back. Yes, we are going to get exactly 50. It was very clever, by the way. No one in the audience will get themselves... Oh, and it just repeated. Oh, Hikaru's not happy about that.
Oh, he could have even sat. He had nearly a minute left.
Yeah, he accidentally repeated. That's what happened there.
Would that be in the back of his mind if things go wrong in this next game and we're back to the Queen's Gambit declined? Hikaru now going super solid. This was how he started the day. Slightly different take on the Queen's Gambit, though. And a trendy line. Bishop D6, bishop G5. This is all known stuff. Although, yeah, maybe on White's
Long
terms.
castled there?
Yeah.
I feel like you could have long castled there for White.
Long castles. Tactics with the bishop. Tactics on the knight. Okay, now it looks very stable. But watch out. If you castle, there might be some tic-tacs, some tactics against the bishop on c4. Bishop
Even bishop h2 straight up, yeah, like knight g4 and... Yeah, Firouzja's... It's so hard to conjure up an attack in a symmetrical structure, but if anybody can do it, it's Firouzja.
Okay. Can he grind down Hikaru here? Still looks very stable, very balanced. He wants the bishop pair, or he wants the black bishop to commit, and he can change the structure. That looks like a big attack with the white rook maybe even swinging across.
Yeah. b5 is required.
But bishop pair, that's the first small gain.
But you might be just in time with bishop b7, and your position might not be so bad. Or queen e4, like bishop e2, queen e4, but still a bit dangerous.
Still long term. It's going to be a long game. Hikaru will back himself to defend it. He keeps the queens on the board, stopping these bishop, these queen e4 ideas.
This is unpleasant for black, I feel.
That queen is not quite trapped, but h4 at the right moment. The queen tickles the bishop now. Given a question mark, but not a bad move at all. Very human. The queen could trade off if he just wants to torture black long term, although yeah, it feels like black's going to be ready there.
Wow. h4. f3 now.
It has to be. You've
Nice.
got to cover the light squares. e4 later.
Nice. Queen e5 maybe, yep. Okay. Firouzja trading off the queens.
Like watching prime Karpov. Here we go. This should be a draw with best play, but Hikaru's on the side. Who has to prove it?
Oh yeah. Now, sometimes you can even take, but bishop for knight, age-old wisdom says the bishop is better.
Yeah, the bishop and the pawn structure as well, like in tandem, they're perfect. Controls the light squares, dark squares, the black knight stuck.
No, I'm fully backing the white position here. Black literally has no play.
Or Hikaru grimacing as well. I think with colors reversed, Hikaru would back himself to win this most of the time. Can Alireza outplay Hikaru again in an endgame?
Every time Hikaru gestures, I assume some technical malfunction is happening, but it's like him. He's like rallying himself to make a move faster. I'm getting scared. He's freaking me out. And Alireza, meanwhile, is not freaked out at all. He's just trading off a pair of rooks, which they say actually you need to do to win a position like this. And Black's defenses are quickly under significant pressure.
Oh, E5 was a classy move. Now the white bishop is so dominant over the black knight. You can win a pawn if you want, but I think the bishop is just stronger. You don't want to trade off.
Yeah, even bishop f6 looked really dominant on the 7th rank. Alireza Firouzja is taking on g7.
He wins a pawn, but
That was wrong?
king h7 only move to get out.
Believable.
Crazy. Bishop to e5, just doing it in his own time, taking his sweet time about it would have been the winning move, but okay, still a pawn up.
And Hikaru just escapes.
He dropped the g-pawn.
Now he's playing for a win because he has the knight in the bullet endgame.
Oh my gosh, the black king's still in a bit of trouble here. Bishop f4, there was king g6 hitting the white rook. Bit lucky, but okay, both kings in a bit of trouble here.
Ooh.
Oh, I hate the black king position.
Rook c4 or go back or something.
Okay, he's trying to repeat now, Hikaru.
Very easy to blunder your rook here.
Oh,
Oof.
fair result.
Oh my gosh.
Alireza had the advantage, but Hikaru defended so well as he always does.
Just insane how he just zipped out of the way there of the bishop and the rook.
Okay, now it is the Slav defense. Very trendy variation. White gets the bishop pair, but black is rock solid. This is well-known theory.
This is absolutely unbelievable. And another very dynamic position on the board, which they'll only have a minute to handle. This is some slow Slav. It's anything but slow. The position's about to blow up. Guys, we have 13 minutes remaining to crown our second finalist to go on to challenge Magnus Carlsen in this year's Speeches Championship Finals. Can we get some hype in the venue for the players? Can we get some hype back home? A little yelling at your smart TV. One game match. It's been so close, David.
It's been crazy and so close in the best of ways, knocking each other out in multiple games. The swings, we've barely seen any draws. Huge win streaks. This position, however, is, yeah, this is crazy as well. There's a pawn hanging in the center. Does he take it now? The other black knight can jump in. There we go. Blue arrow appears. Best move spotted by Firouzja. And he's turning it in his favor. The white king is actually misplaced. The white king is in a bit of trouble, potentially long term. Black not castling, so not committed. Can even win a pawn if he wants. Big moment.
And d4's hanging as well. So everything in white's position is under significant pressure. Apparently that was not the right way to handle it, because maybe the check in the center is going to arrive. But it is not pleasant here to play with white.
Not at all. Two pawns hanging now, and the black king is surprisingly safe here. The black rook on h8 will get in the game a bit later, but here we go. Pawn advantage for Alireza.
Total gamble, by the way.
Oh, bishop
c4?
He missed the pin. He's lost the pawn back. He was up a pawn for nothing. Hikaru's back in it with an advantage because of the misplaced black king.
Oh, this is really desperate times now for Alireza Firouzja.
Oh, that was a huge miss. Huge blunder. Even king to h7 is not going to be safe.
h5. White is completely winning, practically speaking. Yeah, that's 2 pawns now.
Desperation. He had to give up that pawn, and the clock situation compounds it.
I mean, if you play with black, you might resign in the next minute, because Hikaru is going to stall this the whole match, basically.
Exactly. He needs to get out of this game fast, win the next one with white. Did you see Hikaru? He could have just taken back the queen instantly. He leant back, stretched, flexed.
Yeah. Firouzja might just literally resign the game. Like, I know he thinks he has a chance to save it, and he very well might, but before you know it, you have 9:30 on the clock and you're down 2 games.
Ooh, is that a miss from Hikaru, though? G3 drops. The other black rook is in the game, at least. Still alive.
But it's like false hope, you know? But yeah, if he saves this, that would be insane. Revenge for all the games that Hikaru took back.
There was a knight fork covered now by the white rook.
7 seconds. 97. 97's game over.
97 wins the black knight.
And
Double question mark.
Hikaru's not playing it. He's not playing it. He's stalling. He's slow rolling. There we go.
And now the resignation does arrive. Hikaru leads by 2. Not long left now on the match clock.
10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining and a 2-game lead for Hikaru. Nobody in this match has had a bigger lead than 2. Will it tip in Hikaru's favor now? If Hikaru wins this game, the match is very close to mathematically over. Alireza would then have to win every single game from that point forward.
They'd have to do it quickly. That is not easy. We're back to the Queen's Gambit accepted. This time the Queens are off early. That probably favors Hikaru, who can, again, slow play this position. Nothing too bad can happen in the near future, at least, even if White has an advantage, probably because of the vulnerable c5 pawn. is going to be hit in the very near future. But Alireza needs to win fast. It's not just about winning now. This could easily be another 6-7 minute game.
Yep.
5 question mark.
The young boy in the audience is celebrating that you just said that. The light squared bishops being threatened with the trade, and I do say threatened because you cannot have your initiative extinguished here if you're playing with the white side. And as I say that, it is extinguished.
This black pawn chain's so perfect now. Just defends everything, defends each other. Earlier there was a weakness that could have been hit. Now all black needs to do is get the h8 rook into the game, and he's totally fine, Hikaru Nakamura. That game was going to go on forever. Advantage black apparently now. Wow, this has turned. Alireza feels like he's spiraling a bit.
But this looks pretty good for white. This looks pretty good. I don't know what you're trying to do here.
Ooh, but tactics, fork threatened, pawn hit. He's dropped a pawn. Now is a pawn down, and it continues. The black king now has breathing space to get off the back rank.
Yep. G6. King F7, Rook H7, Rook A7. Just bring the boys.
This might be it. Alireza, he's down on time as well. He needs a miracle to save this. He was threatening a check, but that's easily been stopped. Hikaru knows. He's close now. The white knight on G3 is just terrible.
Yeah.
Anywhere else in this would be a full fight.
I said if Hikaru wins this game, there would be about maybe 8 minutes left, but it's going to be far past that. If he wins this game, it very well could already be over.
There we go, a capture. He's trying some last tricks, but that D
Ooh.
pawn. Ooh. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Targets. He's got to move. That bishop needs to get out the way. Counterplay suddenly.
Alireza Firouzja is not looking to save this game. He's looking to maybe win it.
Wow, that was a big miss from Hikaru. Relax one move too early. Okay, he needs to compose.
Oh, he goes that way. Okay.
Now the pawns are dropping back to level material.
Yeah, knight H5. This is awful. Awful. King F8 maybe only move. Rook F6.
Yeah, something to F6. Here we go, game on. He needs this. He needs this, Alireza. He's up on time by a few seconds.
Oh, so much game clock is being burned here.
Rook takes H6 as a pawn. Rook takes C5, potentially a pawn. There we go. There is a pin on the black bishop.
How is Hikaru going to conjure up something here? Rook G6 maybe? Rook A4. Wow.
Yeah, he's going to win it back. Oh, he's so tenacious to Hikaru, defending everything.
Yeah, obviously Alireza does not want to draw.
Cannot repeat.
Can he? Can he repeat with 7 minutes? That might be the only option.
Oh, this one's going to go on forever now. That rook exchange, the active white rook, passive black rook, that helps black, if anything. This is a dead drawn position now.
Yep. Knight D5 doesn't do anything because, yep, King E6. Oh, this is going to go on forever now.
Oh, he should have taken the repetition, got out of there. This is a dream for Hikaru Nakamura, and you can see it on Alireza's face. There's no way to end this game in the next minute.
No, maybe not even in the next, 5. Like, literally, F and H is a draw. Hikaru could literally lose both pawns. It's not happening, and he could still make a draw.
Just give all the checks with white. Oh, rook B7, rook B6. Now he's on the defensive side. Now Hikaru can play 50 moves, then H5. 50 moves, H4.
This game is like, it's literally, it might be over. I mean, I have no idea how, yeah, he's going to keep his rook on the 4th rank. That's the only chance he has, but then he'll go around.
At some point, Hikaru will give up his rook. He'll give up his pawn, sorry, on H5. There we go. 50 move, countdown begins.
And obviously, Hikaru is totally justified, and he will stall down the next 20 seconds.
Yeah. As soon as he realizes it's close to the 50 move rule, he'll sit on his time. Building up that bank.
This is unreal. And Hikaru is going to scroll up to check how many moves have been made.
Oh, he's counting.
There it is.
Alireza looks flustered. He knows.
But it's still enough time. It's still enough time. 2 games is not 3 games. He could have lost. That would have been worse.
But it's must-win territory now. No room for error in the remaining games. He needs to win the next one quickly.
Hikaru counting down. It's probably been about 35.
Yeah, we're getting close. Closing on a 40 now.
Yeah, this is so brutal.
Not long left. Don't blunder your rook.
Nope.
A few more moves.
Come on, guys. The automatic function will kick in.
Here we go. Hikaru
And he's going to sit.
stops on move 49.
He is going to sit until he gets under 5 minutes. Firouzja feeling the heat. He has to win 2 games in 5 minutes against arguably the best bullet player in the world.
Wow, Alireza looks almost heartbroken. He knows he just needs to focus now. It's all about the next game. Hikaru waiting. He's got seconds left, 5 seconds left, 4 seconds on his clock. 3, 2, and there we go, it's a draw. We move on. 2 points in it. Levy, do you think it's possible? Well, is there still hope?
Anything is possible, of course. This match has not been any bigger than 2 games apart. And we see in this game, Firouzja is forcing a very, very dynamic confrontation-style game, making Hikaru play aggressively, and he's apparently already even making a mistake, but that's the nature of bullets, hard to punish opening errors.
Yeah, there were some weaknesses on the dart squares. Black should maybe have started with the knight coming out first. Now it looks like a King's Indian defense, something that Hikaru is more used to playing on the black side. White has the extra space here. Block structures, I think that's what Hikaru is going for.
Yep.
He just wants the longer game. Perfectly fine position for Black.
Yeah, absolutely. All Firouzja needs is for there to be 1 second left on the game clock to start another game. That's it. He now has 4 minutes to win this game, or it's over. He has 3 minutes and 56 seconds to win this game.
He's running out of time. He's played fast so far. He's taking risks. 55 seconds still on his clock. He knows he needs to do it fast. Hikaru's just defending everything. He's just like, okay, I'm getting my pieces out. He's gonna, I was gonna say, take that knight, queen d2, off of the queen trade.
Yeah, I don't know what you even do here. Bishop f1. Like, you have to go for some completely absurd things. Otherwise, white is gonna play queen d2, a3.
I like it though. Bishop f1, at least confuse Hikaru. Oh, he goes back.
Queen b3?
Queen b3, it's a blunder. It's a blunder. The blue arrow appears. That skewers a piece.
What?
Oh, his chances are still alive. That was a godsend for Alireza. That would have skewered a piece, won a piece, due to some extra pressure on the knight, the bishop.
That was like an elementary tactic. Like, that's crazy.
It's the heat of the moment. Like, we get the bar levy, but yeah, that should have been findable. He should have found that, Hikaru. That would have been lights out, game over.
Wow, that's incredible. Both guys missing it, but still, Hikaru pressuring with white, although it's not so easy.
There is a pawn up for grabs. He doesn't take it.
That was a free pawn.
Yeah, but why risk?
But this is the... How are you going to win this in the next 3 minutes?
It's so blocked. Yeah, a draw's not enough. He needs to win. It's so blocked. That white knight is going to sit there for eternity. It covers everything.
Queen e2, king g2, rook f1, and just sit.
Even if you lose the e4 pawn, just get the queens off. This continues forever. 10 seconds for Hikaru, though. Will the nerves kick in?
Wow. That is not a lot of time.
He's going back and forth. Alireza, he just needs to go for the white king now. g5 something. g5, h4.
Oh,
blow it open.
a4's hanging.
Oh, that's the pawn.
Uh-oh.
Oh, queen in. He's
Whoa.
doing it. He's got 2 minutes on the match clock. Hikaru's got no time. That knight is being kicked away.
Oh my gosh, and Hikaru's just rolling the dice. E7? Surely he can't save this. Oh, he can't. No chance.
No.
Queen f2.
No time.
What?
He wants to keep the queens on to win quicker. Queen f8. That was that queen f8?
Queen f8 and e8 queen, maybe.
Oh my god, queen f8. That would have been a game changer. It's over. He loses his queen. Hikaru will get one last game to decide it all.
Unbelievable. He just relaxed. He just relaxed. He got nervous. He relaxed. It's like a mix of the two. David, this is it. This is the game right here.
Okay, 1 point in it. He doesn't need to care about the match clock anymore. He just knows he needs to win.
And this is a perfect Italian. If you need to play a game for a win, you put the bishop on g5 and h4. Black's best move is to play g5. And now it's a super double-edged position.
Yeah, and this is Hikaru using his best lines, playing his best openings. He doesn't care anymore about the candidates saving stuff up.
No.
This is well-known theory, and it gets even more complicated from here. Black cannot take this pawn because the white knight jumps in. Or can he?
Oh my god.
He does, and Hikaru reacts. Hikaru reacts.
We hear the... Whoa!
G3!
Whoa!
G3!
Alireza's thrown it!
Checkmate's coming. The white knight has to block, but now the pawn can just capture on f2 and the rook is lost.
Oh my goodness. Both guys so nervous there, David.
Wow. Right idea, wrong order. If Alireza had taken on c7 first and then the knight on h4, he would have been better.
The only move now, queen d2, and Alireza has a... Whoa!
He's back in it. He's back in it because now his knight might survive a bit later. That knight has a way back. Knight to g5, a good move, a key move here.
Firouzja has 13 seconds. This will be the last game. And Hikaru under big pressure here.
Hikaru was winning. He let the queens come off, and it's game on again. White is still a pawn up after all of that. White has survived.
Completely insane. Obviously here, do not hang a rook fork.
And you would love to take this pawn and pin the white knight, but the black bishop would be hit. King moves. Rook f1 looks very natural. There we go. That is nasty, nasty business on the f-file.
He totally missed that move.
This is going to Armageddon. We can almost feel it.
Maybe f6. f6 is the only move, maybe. But then you take fg, rook f7. What do you play here?
The white knight's going to come back into the attack from a8 as
Oh,
well.
that's so clutch. Rook g8. He found this resource.
Oh, he's still alive. It's back to level material. White still has an advantage, though. One pawn island, everything connected. Black has weaker pawns. But game on.
I feel like I've lived like 4 months in the last like 4 hours. Like, this is crazy.
We've aged so much. What a roller coaster match. Okay, where's the knight go? Back. Hikaru wants everything off. White just needs to go active. There we go, rook a1. The blue arrow appeared. He's coming in.
So clutch from Firouzja, who might very well be tying this match and sending it to a tiebreak.
Oh, the bar's gone back. The rook is coming in. No way to defend these pawns. The black bishop's forced offside.
That was wrong.
I'm really shocked he didn't take the bishops off for white.
Now you move your king, and I go back to, what am I playing, by the way? F5!
Wow, is this a mating net around the white king somehow? There are some nasty checks. The white king barely has squares.
Yeah, you play f4 and some bishop g2, and
Oh, counterplay. Suddenly the white king's really uncomfortable.
that was apparently wrong. I don't know why.
D4 only move. He needed to cover the promotion square of the black f pawn.
And now Alireza is winning because he's breaking through faster, and the c4 bishop controls the f1 square.
He can give it up. The white pawns are too strong. Are we going to Armageddon? Hikaru's got 2 seconds, and he's 2 pawns down. Wow, this is going to continue this crazy, crazy match.
Hikaru can't believe it. He is beside himself. There are no more tricks here. All Alireza can do is maybe lose the game on time, but that's not going to happen. It's tied.
Wow, Hikaru let his clock run out. We go to overtime.
David, what did we just witness? Alireza Firouzja wins 2 games on demand after trailing by 2. It's 12.5, 12.5. They're getting the rules explained to them. We've got a 4-game mini match coming up, and then if we need to, I just can't even. We just keep on going. We just keep on going.
Wow, and the streaks continue. Both sides taking turns to win several games on the bounce in a row. The fans are definitely getting their money's worth today. More chess, and it's only going to get more dramatic.
This is a so far 4.5 hour, if we actually count the game time, 3.5 hour match. It is so close, and they have to decide it in the bullet. As a person who both has lost, and let's explain the rules first. We play 4 games of 1+1, and if it's all tied after that, a 5-minute Armageddon is played, where I suppose the players will be bidding on the time, as they usually do. And if that's wrong, well, we will re-explain. I can't talk anymore. Hikaru analyzing his games there, David. David, I've played a bunch of these Speechless Championships. I have lost the match twice on the last game, and once I made it to an Armageddon on the playoff, and I managed to win. You feel so horrible now. There's this pit in your stomach of like, control the last part of the game, and you just can't. And Alireza clutched it out.
That was incredible. It felt like Hikaru maybe was on the back foot heading into the bullet. Then he was going on this streak, and yeah, just to see that one final twist was incredible. As you say, pit in the stomach. Nerves are going to be jangling. The hands will be shaking. Will we see mouse slips for the first time? Will we see clocks playing the biggest role? Yeah, how good are your nerves, Hikaru? How good are your nerves, Alireza? That is going to be the deciding factor now. Just 2 players bringing the best today.
Best of 2.5.
Yeah.
My nerves are not good enough for this. Like really, I don't know what to say. This is incredible. And if Hikaru's ever had to lock in, it's now.
Who's the favorite? Is there one? Is it still at 50-50? We've mentioned throughout the last couple of portions.
I think it's really, that's what it comes. It's really just a 50-50. It's a complete, they could play 10 of these and it would be 5-5. It's going to come down to the smallest of decision making. Who is just sharper with their nervous system? Do you lean youth or do you lean experience? That's really what it is, and I don't have an answer for you. We just have to watch.
And Alireza's back. Normally I would lean experience here, but he is one of the few who doesn't seem to let the occasion get to him. Alireza Furusha. This is going to be so close. It's going to come down to who makes the final mistake, who cracks in that final game. It might be just decided by that tiniest of margins, one move, or maybe by Armageddon. We'll see. Overtime starting soon.
It's crazy. Hikaru, I'm not even sure he found Queen B3 yet. Like, he hasn't looked at it. I mean, he was up 2 games with a winning tactic on the board and about 240 remaining on the clock.
Yeah, that was crazy. He just wanted to race towards the position he knew he could hold, but holding's not enough. He could have won it on the spot.
No. No, it's not enough. Absolutely insane.
Oof. Hikaru does look tense. He's trying to lock in, though. He has to get back in the zone. It's just wild. These players rarely lose more than 1 or 2 games in a row, and to see them go on these huge streaks, incredible.
Yeah, 2 4-game streaks in the same match. Not any bigger of a lead than 2. Magnus is still combing his mustache in the hotel room. And there we go. The best of 4 is on.
Here we go. It's King's Indian defense, and queens are off. Hikaru goes for the exchange variation. This is a very drawish tendency, a drawish reputation, but Hikaru has played this for a win in the past, and ooh, taking the knight is the main move, followed by a quick c6. And Alireza Furusha says, you can take the bishop pair instead, if you want. There we go. He does take that option, Hikaru. But black does have a hole in the center, long term.
Yes, and for anybody confused, there are just 4 games. There's no more countdowns. We play 4. If it's 2-2, we play an Armageddon game. Just 1 game to decide. 15,000 bucks on the line, securing yourself a spot in the Esports World Cup 2026 finals in Riyadh in August later this year. Potentially like a 5 to 6 figure paycheck. So much on the line in the next half an hour.
Yeah, that's the real golden ticket, the Esports World Cup. Of course, they want to win this match. They want to win the SEC, but so much more at the back of their mind. Also, honor between the Team Falcon teammates here.
By the way, black is just like about to double the rooks and take on b4, and white is not in time.
Yeah, if white could somehow play like rook a2, rook across, and the put a bishop on c4, defend everything, fine. But there's no way that white bishop is ever moving off the diagonal now. That's a trick. Bishop takes knight would be a huge blunder due to d3 check, discover check, game over.
Can you play... I thought maybe... Yeah, okay, knight c4.
This is the square he wants.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what was so wrong about this. It's very difficult to watch chess with a bar sometimes. Can you just take and play like knight a5 and just super chill out?
Yeah, looks that way.
Up at knight a4 and knight c5.
Ooh, tactics. Maybe he'll just, there we go, king to b3. If the black rook comes in, white just holds the door maybe, and then goes for the black pawns.
Settle down. Hikaru doing this. Just relax, Furusha. You got no tactics here. Just as I say that, here comes the rook to the second rank. It's never over with these guys.
But now it's a threat, knight a5, your move. And the black rook is actually cut inside enemy lines, can't get back. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for it yet.
He's just controlling him, you know? Now knight a5, knight d6. You gotta go for something.
Yep.
You also have f3.
F3, yeah. E5 there, I thought maybe as well.
Knight b2?
Strange move, but he's freed up his rook. He's liberated his rook since he's blocked the second rank.
I don't get these moves. I don't understand.
Yeah, too deep for us. Very mysterious, but okay, black's creating counterplay again. The e4 pawn is hanging. Hikaru blunders it, shakes his head.
What are we watching? This is craziness. This is such a nervy match.
Yeah, I can't blame them for being nervous, but that was a surprising miss, dropping a clear pawn out of the blue. He wanted to get his knight in, but okay, it does come in eventually, and maybe it doesn't matter. Advantage white again.
Oh my gosh, knights in the position are so tricky. Rook a8 and knight e8 is just winning. Knight f5 as well.
Check, check. The black king is in a mating net. Where's it going? There's a skewer.
That's it. What? That's wrong.
Wow.
No way.
The black pawn is promoting if you take that black rook. Wow. Oh, and he has to go back and give up his bishop, but blunder again. The knight was hanging. The knight on c3 was hanging. It drops anyway. Hikaru's going to be up 2 pawns.
Yes, now he's winning, and that's it, David.
Wow, all the rook endgames suddenly, they're all flowing suddenly all at once. 2 pawn advantage. This must be game over.
Yeah, this is easy. You push the pawn, you bring back...
What? Hikaru, he's blundered a check, and the black pawn promotes. The black pawn promotes with a check. Miracles. Oh, and he's losing now. He's playing for a win, but he's losing. G7, the black rook can simply stop the pawn.
This is unbelievable.
Hikaru is 2 pawns up in a rook endgame. He's now down a queen for rook. What has happened?
And he's looking for a fortress, and now it's a draw again! It's a draw again!
This is incredible. Apparently it would have been a fortress if White had played his card right, but now it's going to be Zugzwang. How did it happen, as Hikaru said?
But is there still some hope for a draw? Probably, it's probably not, right?
He's cut off on the back rank. At some point there'll be a, diagonal check here. Bring the king closer. Okay. Still not over. No time for Alireza, 4 seconds. Is there going to be one final turn?
That would be insane. Rookie, yeah, I thought there was some rookie 6 maybe, but okay.
How to build the fortress.
Push his pawn at some point. He can really push his pawn.
Play for the win. Should be still winning for black, but he's running out of time, running out of ideas.
Yeah? Like right there I thought we could, okay, whatever.
50 move rule, not in anywhere near yet, but could come into effect at some point.
Hikaru's figured out a defensive setup, and Alireza doesn't quite know how to make progress here.
He's going to go around the other way with his king, but now the pawn is pushing, and Hikaru's blundered. It's Zugzwang. He's going to lose his pawn.
What are you doing?
Alireza takes the win. What a turnaround.
Unbelievable. I'm speechless.
He took a risk in that rook endgame. Just take the black pawn. It became a queen.
Yeah, he could have brought the rook back and just put it on the c-file, yeah? And that was just... How will he bounce back from this?
That was 100% nerves, but incredible calculation. We should not take anything away from Alireza Firouzja. He found that resource. Rook f4 check, promoting a pawn. Wow. And to finish it off, he held on, he held his nerve. Is that the final turn in this match?
I straight up, for like a minute there, I became a spectator. I forgot I was commentating, and I apologize. I'm literally staring at the screen, mouth just open. I cannot believe what is transpiring. Both these guys are magicians in different ways. I can't believe Alireza got that game.
Those were beautiful tactics. I mean, well worth analyzing for anyone at home. Go check out those games in more detail. These, especially the end games. Just, yeah, wizardry. But in the meantime, big threats. E5 was threatened, been stopped. And looks healthy for Hikaru. I think saving this game, holding it is fine. Still a 4-game match, but he would love to put some pressure on, turn it around yet again.
I don't know how you summon the self-love and self-belief you need to now make a comeback in the next 3 games. I would have destroyed the setup already, you know, a long time ago. We have not seen him push like this, you know what I mean? This is so, so tough.
Yeah, it's nerves and heartbreak on his face. We've all been there. We've all lost painful games. We've all blundered, but picking yourself up, that is the sign of a true champion. Does he have enough reserves left? It's like watching Djokovic versus Alcaraz. It's just like knocking chunks out of each other.
Well, that has gone quite poorly for Djokovic as of late, so maybe like watching him against Sinner, you know? But
exactly.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, playing Firouzja is just, it really is never over. Again, there's no time remaining, like it's just game. So even though this position is very locked, Alireza is not bleeding any time out. There's all the chess remaining. Last game, Hikaru got the better of him, and then total pandemonium happened. Can Alireza maintain his lead?
Yeah, he's got a healthy position here, Hikaru, probably no more than just level, but spending time on the clock, and he's frustrated himself, not quite in the flow yet. He is threatening some knight forks, though. That would hit both white rooks simultaneously. Watch out, threats in the air, and one drops back.
He's yelling at himself to move. He's finding the flow. What?
Ooh, we're back.
Okay.
Back in business. Oh, king to d4 is a fork. Got to be careful. Active king, king of the hill. That would ask awkward questions of the black pieces. He's got to move, he says.
Yeah, he's like, you got to move. You got to move. He's just forcing himself to move. He has 5 seconds on the clock, David.
Oh, okay, he bails out. He's trying to get pieces off the board now. I think that was a good practical decision before it turned against him. Now he's coming in with his rook. Alireza has to be careful.
Very careful. In fact, what does he even do here? He also has 5 seconds.
Drops back his king. Goes passive.
Insane. Such good decision-making under such time constraint.
There we go. Just needs to defend his pawn. Hikaru, everything holds.
Oh, the c4 pawn.
Yeah, the white rook's coming. Still anyone's game. Rook and bishop tend to work very well against rook and knight.
Oh, what?
Ooh.
94 was there. Wait, he just lost a pawn.
94 was there. He forgot the bishop was still defended by its rook. He was trying to deflect the black king, and this is golden opportunity time for Hikaru if he can find some tricks in the next few moves.
Oh, but he can't. He can't find any tricks.
No, he lost the pawn. Oh, so many knight forks in the air now. Got to be careful. H5 drops.
And now it's likely just a draw.
Can he somehow win the white knight for his pawn? Bishop still strong.
Rook G2, Rook H2. Yeah, it's not so easy.
And there we go. Should be a draw now. Clock time doesn't really matter. We're going to see the Philidor position at the very best for Hikaru. He just takes it off and draw incoming.
Yeah. There it is.
Tight game. Fair results, I would say. But that means he's getting closer to crunch time for Hikaru Nakamura.
Well, this is a championship game. I mean, if Alireza wins this with black, he wins the semifinal. So we are potentially looking at the last game that these two are going to be playing.
Hikaru with white, he tends to like these pawn structures, playing against hanging pawns here in the center. Especially here, they easily targeted. The white queen could step across and hit them soon. But okay, very tense for now. Objectively level.
Yes, the white knight maybe is trying to go to A4. Knight C3, knight A4. Yep.
Yeah, the more pieces that come off, the weaker these pawns tend to be unless they can advance. That is the big question. But okay, queen to C1 maybe?
Yes. Queen C1, and then how are we protecting ourselves? I guess we're just committing to D4.
Yeah, it looks like that might be the only option. Maybe knight to B4, counterattack ideas, but Hikaru drops his rook back. Oh, this gives some time to Alireza. We keep seeing this pawn structure. IQP, isolated queen's pawn.
Yep.
Will we see it again? But everything getting hoovered off the board here. Rook trade.
This is just not enough. This is just not enough for a clear plan to play for a win.
Yeah, he's been more convincing with white than black, so you would think that his chances lie in this game. Hikaru. It's going to be hard to win, though. That bishop is the key blockader, but traded off. The white queen now can not really move in the near future for fear of the black pawn pushing.
Yeah, so again, if there was a clock time, running this out would be beneficial for the person that is in the lead, but Hikaru's only got 2 games and he has to win one of them.
It could have been so different. It should have been the other way around. Should have been roles reversed. Hikaru in the lead here. But this is great. Solid play from Alireza, holding everything so far. That's an awkward tension now between the queen and the white pieces.
Yeah, I think in the 25th and final game of regulation, the odds that Hikaru was going to win were like 85% for a moment. I mean, really, maybe 90. It's just so mind-blowing. Alireza stormed all the way back.
Wow, we've had so many topsy-turvy games. And the king steps forward. That's a game-losing blunder with a queen check, apparently. But what is the follow-up? The blue arrow appears.
And that was not it. Now the king is going to run across the center, but okay.
Wow, apparently it was a queen check, and when the white king retreated to jump in, queen to G2, forced the white king away and start picking up pawns.
Queen E4's clutch. Very clutch, actually. This looks very tough to play for black.
Queen trade would have helped white with the active pieces. Ooh, he's
Oh,
blundered!
no! Oh, no!
Hikaru loses his rook to a double attack. It's the match over. Alireza Firouzja takes it. What a heartbreaking end to the match, but a deserved finalist here.
I am absolutely stunned. He can't believe it himself. It was just a queen and rook endgame there. Rook C8 appeared to threaten a checkmate. And down went the rook. Down went Hikaru. Alireza Firouzja 2 years in a row taking him down in the semifinals. And he will play Magnus Carlsen.
Wow, what an end. Just as it looked like Hikaru might get some chances, a final blunder, but he's the man of the moment, Alireza Firouzja, the younger of the two, youth reigning out there in the bullet section.